You're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
He's grown up before our eyes, a fresh-faced teenager becoming a seasoned veteran, identified forever as a champion, a hallmark of Yankee greatness. The pages of the calendar have turned and have been punctuated by a steady torrent of hits. With the consistency of a metronome, Jeter has made sure the hits just keep on coming. Each hit has moved him up on the Yankee list. One by one, hit by hit, the greats have fallen as he climbs the ladder, putting the game's deities in his rearview mirror. And Jeter has not looked back as he moves past Mickey Mantle and then Babe Ruth. One more baseball god to go. 4 more hits to stand atop the Yankees' Mount Olympus. It is a beautiful day here in New York City. That ticket might be worth a lot of money one day as fans are flocking to Yankee Stadium hoping to see history. There'll be 2 games, but the story is about number 2, Derek Jeter, as he tries to become the Yankees' all-time hits leader. As today, the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Tampa Bay Rays in the first game of a day-night doubleheader from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Yankees baseball on Yes is presented by KGB. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees Baseball. Along with John Flaherty, I'm Michael Kay. Everybody here at the Yes Network wishes you all a very happy Labor Day. Hope you've had a good weekend as well. It's been a good weekend. It's been a good career for Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter is on the move. He is 3 hits away from tying Lou Gehrig, and he's 4 hits away from becoming the Yankees' all-time hits leader. And, John, he seems to be taking these hits and getting rid of them in chunks.
Well, he's finishing up the season very strong, and it seems like he picks up 2 hits, maybe 3 hits a day. He had a nice game yesterday in Toronto. And when you watch these swings, Derek Jeter is not on time. He's actually a little bit late, a little bit early, but with that consistent inside-out stroke, he always has the ability to find some base hits. He had 3 of them yesterday, climbing up the all-time list.
Now, John, obviously you played against Derek from the time that he was a rookie, and you were a teammate of his with the Yankees. What type of guy was he, and did you expect these great things?
Well, you know, when a young player comes up, you hear a lot about him, and you don't know what to expect. But the one thing about Derek Jeter, his approach has been the same every year since he was a rookie. Rookie of the Year in 1996, the All-Star 10 times, 4-time world champion, and the .317 career batting average. It's just an inside-out approach. He uses the whole field, a very consistent hitter.
Well, will we see history today? That's obviously the main story. But you know what? There's also a game to be played here at Yankee Stadium. Sabathia will get the start. How's he been doing of late? We'll talk about that next on Yes. Making its way to Yankee Stadium. Let's take a look at the New York Lottery pitching matchup for the first game of this day-night doubleheader. Matt Garza gets the start for the Rays, 7-9, 4.01. CC Sabathia for the Yankees, 16-7 with a 3.48 ERA. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Yankees Baseball. That's John Flaherty. I'm Michael Kay. We'll be your cruise directors for the next 10 hours tonight as we go right into the second game as well. First game, though, CC Sabathia, and obviously a lot of the accent is on Derek Jeter and the hits record today. But the bottom line is the Yankees want to win the game, and they have the right guy on the mound. Sabathia has been great of late.
You know what, Michael? They have the right guy on the mound because when you play a doubleheader, you want length from your first game starter. And whenever you think about CC Sabathia, you're thinking 7 innings, probably pretty easy. Most of the time, 8 innings. So I think the Yankees looking for a quality performance in the first game of this doubleheader. Derek Jeter's going to get a lot of attention, but CC, the #1 guy.
Absolutely. If he pitches anything like he's been pitching lately, should be a pretty good game. When we come back, lineups, first pitch, baseball coming up next right here on Yes. Want to throw your friends a curve? Get your Yankee stats from KGB. Text your question to 542542. That's 542-542. It's a beautiful Labor Day here in New York City, and that man is on everybody's mind. Lou Gehrig, he leads the Yankees all-time in hits, and that's the man who's chasing him, another Yankee captain, Derek Jeter. Gehrig with 2,721 hits, Jeter with 2,718 hits. Could it come today? Will Jeter play both ends of this doubleheader? We shall see, and we'll experience it together. CC Sabathia is taking his warm-up tosses. Let's take a look now at the Rays starting lineup that he is going to face. Jason Bartlett, the shortstop, leads off. Batting second and playing left field, Carl Crawford. Good numbers lifetime against the Yankees. Ben Zobrist at second base will hit third. Cleaning up and playing first base is Carlos Peña. Pat Burrell, the DH, is going to bat fifth. Batting sixth and playing third base, second-year man Evan Longoria. Gabe Kapler's in right field, he'll bat seventh. Batting eighth and catching, Diana Navarro, and Fernando Perez is the center fielder. He's going to bat ninth.
Well, the Rays will face CC Sabathia, #1 starter for the New York Yankees, making his 30th start of the year. 16-7, the 3.48 ERA, outstanding numbers. We'll take a look at our Jeep pitcher scouting report. If you're the Yankees, you want CC Sabathia to stay hot. He is 6-0 over his last 7, peaking towards the playoffs, and a lot more swings and misses. Over 10 strikeouts per 9 lately over his last 6 games, and he is a workhorse. He's going to go over 200 innings here in the first inning against the Rays. Just a guy who goes deep into ball games.
Let's take a look at the defense behind CC Sabathia in the outfield. Melky Cabrera's in left. Brett Gardner comes up the DL. He's in center. And Nick Swisher over in right. In the infield, Rodriguez, Jeter, Cano, and Teixeira. That's third to first. Posada is behind the plate. And CC Sabathia. Karsten Charles Sabathia is on the mound. Crowd still filing into Yankee Stadium on this holiday Monday. Good old Labor Day doubleheader, just like the old days, but the second game is a makeup of a rain out earlier in the season. Jason Bartlett's ready. CC Sabathia is ready. Gorgeous day in the Bronx, and let's do it here at Yankee Stadium. As the left-hander deals, it's outside, and we are underway. 1978 was the last time the Yankees played a Labor Day doubleheader. popped up. Robinson Cano calls off to Sharon, and there's one away. Let's look at the game time weather conditions presented by Bigelow Tea. In a word, beautiful in numbers, 70 degrees, 61% humidity, not much wind. And the forecast, John, is let's play 2.
Perfect day for baseball, and coming into this day-night doubleheader is Brett Gardner off the disabled list, back in action in center field. Got to believe the advantage to the Yankees. They have a comfortable lead in the American League East. The Rays still fighting for that wild card. They're going to have to play their horses both games of this doubleheader. We'll see how Joe Girardi plays with the lineup in the second game.
And here's Carl Crawford. And the first pitch is a fastball inside 1-0. And the 1-0 from Sabathia. There's a strike. 6-0 his last 7 starts. In his last 6 starts, averaging 10.8 strikeouts per 9 innings. He's completed at least 6 2/3 in 23 of his last 26 games. 7-2 lifetime against Tampa Bay, 2.95. As Crawford swings and misses. IOTV offers you incredible HD picture and sound. HD is free with IOTV, the official HD service provider of Yankees baseball on Yes. And Sabathia deals. Just missed inside.
You know, Michael, you mentioned all those stats for CC Sabathia, but if you're a casual fan and you don't really pay attention to stats as he throws a good fastball in off the plate, when you think of CC Sabathia, you think of a guy who's going to go 7-8 innings. You think of him as being a dominant #1 starter. And if you're the Yankees, you really like the position he's in going into September.
And the count is full at 3-2. Crawford has 57 stolen bases against the Yankees lifetime, 55 overall this year. So you want to keep him off the bases. And the 3-2. Swung on and missed, and Crawford's down on strikes, and CC Sabathia has now pitched 200 innings this year.
It's just a good fastball, had a little bit of cut on it. CC Sabathia swing, or Carl Crawford swings right over the top. We got CC Carl Crawford, CC Sabathia. We got a lot of C's out there, Michael.
C. Yes, we do. CC has now pitched at least 200 innings in 3 straight seasons, and that's why they call a guy like that a rotation horse. You know, he's going to take the ball every 5 days, give you a significant amount of innings. In the old days, it was maybe 300 innings when you would consider that sort of pitcher, but now, with the different rules and the enhanced bullpens, 200 is a big number. Pitches low to Ben Zobrist.
Well, CC Sabathia has been everything the Yankees could have hoped for. I mean, you talked about the innings eater, 16 wins on the season now, and it looks like he's really finding his stride in August and September. And that's what you want coming down playoff time. I mean, the Yankees have a comfortable lead, kind of rest some of their regulars down the stretch, but you want your pitchers firing on all cylinders, and CC Sabathia definitely doing that.
The 2-0. There's a strike. Last year, Sabathia was so lights out with Milwaukee after being traded from Cleveland, but his final 3 starts, he had to pitch on 3 days rest just to get Milwaukee into the playoffs, and he was somewhat compromised going into the postseason this time because the Yankees have a big lead. They don't really have to ride him that hard. Zobrist swings and misses. So as you said, John, he's going to get the ball every 5 days, but they don't have to push him to 130 pitches.
I think if you're the Yankees, Dave Island, Joe Girardi, you just want to keep seeing what you've seen out of CC. A guy who's very comfortable mechanically right now, and you want to ride that momentum into the postseason.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Upstairs, and the count is full. Carlos Peña, 39 home runs, is waiting on deck. And the 3-2. He foul tipped the ball to stay alive. Big healthy cut by Zobrist.
CC Sabathia goes with a 3-2 changeup, and that's really been the pitch. I didn't know CC had that good of a changeup when he came over here. I mean, we always know him as a fastball slider pitcher, but the changeup this year has been a quality pitch, keeping those righties off of that slider down and in.
And the 3-2. And Zobrist walks. So the first base runner of the game. And that's going to bring up Carlos Peña. Since 2007, Peña has hurt the Yankees with 14 home runs during that time. He has a very unusual season, John. You look at his batting average, he's hitting .228, but he leads the American League with 39 home runs. Well, he's kind of become an all or nothing at all guy. Yeah,
he's your classic slugger. I mean, you don't really pay attention to the batting average. You want production. 39 home runs, leads the American League, 100 RBIs. That's what he's become. You know, he's learned how to sit on his back leg and really drive the ball, a dangerous hitter, especially against the Yankees.
I'd hit number 40 right there, and he fouls it back. Now the Yankees are shifted. Robinson Cano is on the outfield grass, had a high fastball and just missed that one.
Yeah, I was interested to see how Jorge Posada and CC Sabathia are going to go after Peña. He likes to get his arms extended. You saw that first pitch trying to go in on the hands. CC actually left it out over the plate a little bit, got away with a mistake, but you want to pound Peña in off the plate and then go away with the sliders. The sinking fastball may be inside.
Now check swing. Did that hit his hand or did it hit the bat? Oh, the third base umpire, Phil Culbert, said it hit his hand, but he swung. Now the swing will supersede the hit by pitch. So Joe Maddon's going to come out and argue. And Peña was halfway to first. He's going to have to come back to home plate.
First thing you like here is a good job by the umpires communicating. It looked like that got Peña on that left hand. Third base umpire Fielding Colbert said that he swung. Questionable there if the bat head actually went through. It hit his hand and then it looked like it hit the bat.
Now, even if that pitch would hit Peña in the stomach, and it wasn't a foul tip, if the umpire thought that he went around, then the swing would supersede the hit by pitch. You would not get first. So even though it clearly hit him on the hand, they're saying that the bat head went through and it was a swing. And I don't know why Joe Maddon was talking with Jim Wolf, because Jim Wolf deferred to Fielding Colbert, and Colbert said yes, he went around. Here's a Coors Light freeze cam, and we'll freeze it right on contact. Right there, he's not going through, but if you continue it, I don't know, John.
I don't think he went through on that. I mean, that's a questionable call. Like the fact that home plate umpire Jim Wolf right away went to the third base umpire Fielding Colbert to get his opinion. Ron Porterfield, the trainer for the Rays, out there giving Peña a little bit of assistance.
They got him on the knuckles of the left hand, the top hand on the bat. Now they're just trying to decide, is his hand strong enough to swing the bat?
Well, that would be the hand. If you want to get one of them hit, if you're a left-handed hitter, that would be the one you want. Your bottom hand, your right hand, would be your drive hand, your pull hand through the zone. The top one is just kind of there for a little guidance. But you can see the Yankees trying to pound him inside off the plate so he can't dive out over and drive the ball to right field.
Crowd's starting to get a bit restless. I'm sure CC Sabathia is as well. Now, on that shot, it looked like he might have gone through, where the bat did cross the plane, although there's no real good definition in the rule. But Fielding Colbert said, hey, he went around. They say intent to swing. Did he have an intent to swing? That's what's in the rule book. So CC Sabathia now is going to be allowed to throw. to Jorge Posada. He's throwing off flat ground behind home plate, or behind the pitcher's mound. So they're checking every single finger. And as John said earlier, you can't, if you're Joe Mag, just take him out. They need to win almost every game. They put themselves in a bad position. They just had a terrible homestand at 1-5. They're falling quickly in the wild card race. Their chances of catching the Yankees would seem very, very slight. So it's not an easy decision to take out the American League home run hitter. It looks like a decision has been made. It looks like he's going to stay in the game.
Well, pay attention to this next pitch. If you're Jorge Posada, do you call another fastball in on the hands and you test Peña right away, or do you go with that devastating slider down off the plate?
This is Posada's first start of Sabathia since August 18th. The last 3 were with Molina. Molina's going to catch A.J. Burnett in the night portion of the day-night doubleheader.
For CC Sabathia, it does not matter who's been back there lately. He's been on such a run. Jorge Posada getting reacquainted with his #1 starter today.
And the 0-2. Check swing, did he go? Yes, he did. And you can see that was very, very painful trying to check that swing. So Peña goes down on strikes. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 man left. Coming up, leading off the bottom of the first inning is Derek Jeter. 3 hits away from tying the Iron Horse. All-time hits leader. For 72 years, Lou Gehrig has held that honor. And Derek Jeter, another Yankee captain, has been on fire this season, hitting .334. And Matt Garza is warming up, and he's going to be the guy who faces Derek Jeter. Will Derek get it done today? All of his teammates say he wants to get it out of the way. Jorge Posada has said that. Obviously, Mariano Rivera, who's known him forever, has also said it. Let's listen to Bob Shepard.
#2.
Derek Jeter has said that as long as he's playing baseball, the voice of Bob Shepard will introduce him. Bob has been recuperating at home this year, and Paul Olden has handled the PA duties. But Derek Jeter insists on having that tape of Bob Shepard introduce him, and that voice has introduced Derek since he came up just for a short time in 1995, became the Yankee shortstop in 1996, had a great opening day in Cleveland, and now he comes to the plate listening to the crowd. Derek came out of the dugout before the game just to run his wind sprints in the outfield. He got a huge ovation from the crowd. And by the way, Willie Ibar will take over first base, so Peña, obviously, his hand is hurting him so much he could not continue. Here's Derek on the all-time list. 5th in average, 2nd in hits, 4th in runs, 10th in home runs, and 2nd in stolen bases. And Matt Garza deals. Jeter swings at the first pitch and skies it deep to right. Kapler back, now comes in and toward the line, 1 away. Derek has been jumping on the first pitch a lot, John, and it seems like, hey, if they're going to throw me a fastball at first pitch, why work the count?
Well, you're right. They just come right at him. That's what Garza did. Came with a fastball. pretty much middle of the plate. We'll look at the numbers for Garza. 7-9, ERA just over 4. We'll take a look at our Jeep pitcher scouting report. Gone through a rough stretch. He's won win in his last 11 starts. Not getting a whole lot of run support, only 3.85 runs per 9, which is the lowest in the American League. But he does have dominant stuff. Opponents only hitting .233 off of him, and that leads the American League. So good arm.
Pitch to Nick Swisher is a strike. And a count 1-1. Nick on the road trip. Good road trip for Swisher. 9 for 26. 24 home runs, only 3 here at Yankee Stadium, which no one can figure out. 6 home runs against Tampa Bay this year in 11 games. John, how do you explain that? Of his 24 homers, 3 have come here.
Well, you just said it perfectly. Nobody can explain it. I can't explain it. I mean, you would just assume that this park is a very hitter-friendly park. But for some reason, Nick Swisher just has not been able to get the ball in the air here. He's had better success on the road.
And it's not just the power. He's a 200 hitter here as well. So he's hitting about 300 on the road and 200 here. Now, he was asked about it. He had a very funny line. He said, I just want to prove to people it's not that easy to hit home runs here. And there's the splits, home games and road games. So stark. I could see if this was a huge ballpark. It just doesn't make sense. And sometimes there are no answers. No one knows why he has only 3 home runs in the Bronx.
Well, you know his personality. Maybe he just gets super amped up to play here in front of the home crowd. He obviously shows a lot of emotion. Relaxes a little bit more on the road. Who knows? But the bottom line, he's having a consistent year. We talked about CC Sabathia doing what the Yankees wanted. You'd have to think Nick Swisher has done the same thing. A lot of power, high on base percentage.
Swisher has really stepped in. That right field job was supposed to be the job of Xavier Nady. Blew out his elbow. Swisher became an everyday player, and he has really grabbed that by the throat and run with it. The 2-2. And again, he works the count to 3-2. Let's take a look at the umpires today. Jim Wolf behind the plate. The crew chief, Tim Welke, is at first. Gary Cederstrom at second. And Fielden Culbreth is over at third. So 3-2 on Nick Swisher. It's his 114th full count of the year. (3-2). High fly ball, center field. Fernando Perez is there. 2 outs. Let's take a look at the entire Yankee lineup. We've already seen Jeter and Swisher. Batting third for the Yankees is Mark Teixeira. Alex Rodriguez at third. He's going to clean up. Then Cano, Posada, Hinsky, Cabrera, and Brett Gardner back in the lineup for the first time since July 26th, when he fractured his left wrist. Here's Mark Teixeira. Not a great road trip for Mark. 4 for 23, but the Yankees did a good job. They were 5-2. And the 2 games they lost, they split a 4-game set with Toronto. Yesterday's game might have been the Yankees' worst game of the year, and they acted like, hey, that's good. It was out of our system. Grounded to short with the shift on. It was bobbled there by Bartlett, and Teixeira's going to reach on the E6.
As Joe Madden looks on, manager of the Rays, and this has been one of the disappointing things for the Rays this year. Their defense has not been as solid as it was last year when they went to the World Series. A routine ground ball for Bartlett. Usually the sure-handed shortstop playing over on the shift on Mark Teixeira just eats him up. Defensively, not the same ball club as they were last year. A little bit sloppy. 8th in the league in fielding percentage.
Here's Alex Rodriguez. The count is 1-0. Rodriguez on the road trip was 6 for 18. His last 14 games, he has an RBI per game with 3 home runs.
You look at the numbers, Michael. 276, 24, and 78. And it almost feels like Alex Rodriguez has not gotten hot at all this year.
That one's driven deep to left. Oh, did he hit it? But foul. Well, you almost have to look at his season in a couple of ways, and you'll see how he crushed that when it's too quick. Missed 28 games with the hip surgery. Then he kept playing and never had a day off. And if you look at when they gave him those 2 days off against the Marlins in Miami, since that point, John, 311, 15, 52, or 423 on base percentage. It's like they were all experimenting together. Nobody had really come back from this. And the Yankees didn't know which way to deal with it. Neither did Alex nor the doctors. And once they said, hey, we're going to give him a rest each week, and then those 2 days off in Miami, things turned around.
Like the fact that the batting average is creeping back up there. Been very consistent with the home runs, 24. He just hasn't gotten on that run where he's had that great week, you know, where he piles up a bunch of great numbers.
2-2.
And again, another luxury for Joe Girardi and the Yankees with having a nice lead in the American League East. You can rest some of your guys. Alex Rodriguez is going to be one of those. You have to believe coming down the stretch, they're going to be well rested.
You mentioned that Willie Ibar has taken over at first for Carlos Peña, who obviously hurt his left hand on that check swing. Two. Foul ball. And here's the pitch that caused the injury. And then on strike 3, he tried to hold up and just winced, dropped the bat, and you knew that he was probably done for the day. You hope he's not done for the season. The 2-2. And the count is full of 3-2. So that's going to release Mark Teixeira at first.
Garza's been coming right at Alex Rodriguez with good fastballs, mid-90s. Talked about in the Jeep scouting report, he has dominant stuff. He's very proud of the fastball. We'll see if he challenges Alex Rodriguez on a 3-2 count.
Runner goes. That one is laced in the left field. Crawford back. It's over his head and up against the wall. Teixeira rounds third. They're sending him home. He will score. It's an RBI double for A-Rod, and the Yankees lead 1-0. John, was that a laser?
It's a bullet by Alex Rodriguez, and you know he's feeling good about himself when he gets pitches on the inside half and he's able to clear it out and drive it. A little bit easier with the fastball being down and in. Alex Rodriguez can just drop the bat head. It's a line drive, short hops the left field wall. And Mark Teixeira, who is running on the pitch, is going to come around third. Robbie Thompson waving him home. He's going to score easily for the first run of this ball game. But Alex Rodriguez, even the ball that he pulled foul, showing Garza he can handle the fastball in the inner half.
That's Alex Rodriguez's first or 21st go-ahead hit of the season. Here's Cano, 6 for 19 against Garza. Cano on the road trip was 10 for 27. Had a great series in Baltimore and then cooled down a bit in Toronto. Foul back. So Rodriguez, his 79th ribby on that double. And the Yankees up 1-0. First game of a day-night doubleheader here on Labor Day. And the 0-1. Buzzed upstairs.
Robinson Cano doesn't even flinch. It's a fastball up and in. You get out of the way, and then he turns right back around, which you'd like. Go back to work against Garza. Sends a little message. He wants the inner half of the plate. Robinson Cano, you dig your back foot back in there and go to work.
Michael, there are some pitchers that you watch work against the Yankees, and Garza being one of them. You like to see the way he goes about it. I mean, he's got a good fastball. He's going to attack the hitters, and if you're the Yankees, there's really no surprise about what's going to go on here. He's going to attack you with his fastball. If you can beat him, he'll tip his hat to you.
Count 2-1.
Good old-fashioned hardball baseball from Garza.
And the count 2-2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, runner at 7.
Again, another fastball in the hitter's count. Garza coming right at Robinson Cano. No problem for Robinson. He dotted it on the outside corner, down and away. Tough pitch to hit.
And he swings and misses, and that's going to do it in the first. Yankees get an unearned run because of the error by Bartlett. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 man left. We played 1. It's 1-0 Yanks. Located on the main level behind home plate. Men over 40 are especially at risk for prostate cancer. The tests are going to be conducted by doctors and medical technicians from St. Luke's Roosevelt Hospital Center and continue throughout the game. Men will be notified of the results within 2 weeks. So that's going to be this Wednesday against Tampa Bay. And that's a great thing that the Yankees and Ed Randall's Bat for the Cure are doing. It's a preventable disease. You catch it early. It's curable. Do it. It's a great thing. We go to the second inning. Pat Burrell will lead off against Sabathia, who has a 1-0 lead. And the pitch is a strike. Now, Burrell has not been exactly what the Rays had hoped for. They signed him to a pretty big contract during a down free agent market last year, a 2-year, $18 million deal. And he's hitting just .237. Count 0-2.
Yeah, he's gotten hot a little bit lately to kind of creep the numbers up towards respectability. Still, the batting average low and only 13 home runs. That's what the Rays brought him in for, was for some right-handed power. Is not delivered.
Swing and a miss on the breaking ball. Burrell down on strikes, and the 3rd strikeout for Sabathia.
3 strikeouts already. Threw some good fastballs and then finished them with that devastating slider. I mean, that's picture perfect right there. Hand on top, action down and into the right-hander. Ooh, that's a tough pitch. Location, good action. 3rd strikeout.
And that's going to bring up Evan Longoria. That one is driven out to right field and deep. Giving Chase Swisher on the track at the wall. See ya. An opposite field home run for Evan Longoria, and we are tied at 1.
Evan Longoria hitting 6th in the lineup today for Joe Madden and the Rays. His 29th home run. It's just a fastball. Supposed to be out over the plate. It ended up pretty much middle. Longoria has that good power to all fields. Does not have to pull the ball to hit home runs. Just stays inside. Gets it up in the air. Nick Swisher on the run. He's not going to be able to catch up with it.
Wow, that's an E fan. Hits the Gabe Kapler. Has popped up. Posada gives it a look, but it's behind the dugout.
You look at CC Sabathia's fastball today, really, it's got a little bit of a cut on it. He's trying to throw the ball away to righties. Ball's almost cutting to the middle of the plate. He got burned by Longoria on that pitch. See if he can straighten that out. He's done a nice job at dotting the outside corner on righties today. The ball coming back over the plate a little bit more than usual.
And the pitch to Kapler. Grounded to third. Alex Rodriguez. 2 outs.
Check out the location. You can see his little cut movement on that ball. It starts out away, ends up pretty much middle of the plate down. Longoria big and strong. All he's got to do is hit it on the barrel and get it up in the air to right field. It's going to carry out.
Close to a full house here at the new Yankee Stadium. Yankees still, this late in the season, averaging more per game than any team in baseball, right around 46,000 per game. Here's Deanna Navarro, and there's a strike.
Now, Michael, you talked about Pat Burrell and not really living up to the expectations. Navarro would be in the same boat. Batting average only .226. Guy was an all-star last year, not having that type of year this year.
And there's a ground ball, Alex Rodriguez. And that'll do it. So a mistake to Longoria cost CC Sabathia. Despite the home run, an 8-pitch inning. So one of the pitches was deposited into the seats in right field. The end of an inning and a half is 1-1. Bench Tri-State dealers on the web at searchmercedes.com. These are one of those wow Johns. Derek Jeter on this date last year tied Babe Ruth for second all-time on the franchise hit list, and yesterday was the anniversary of Lou Gehrig moving to first place on the Yankees all-time hit list. So right around September 6th and 7th, 72 years ago for Lou Gehrig.
I don't even know what to say. It all comes together, Michael. fans here anticipating some history possibly today.
And you know Derek wants to get out of the way. He is not somebody who enjoys having the spotlight totally on him. Now, he's a star. He's a superstar. Nobody's denying that. He does the commercials. But he is all about this team winning, and I don't think that he really enjoys this that much. We go to the bottom of the second as Jorge Posada digs in. Lofted to left field off the bat of Posada, and nice play by Carl Crawford on the run, one down. So Garza gets back that unearned run with a home run by Longoria. Now that's something that old-time pitchers wouldn't do, John. He saw like there was an imperfection or a scuff on the ball. He gave it back. Other pitchers make that sing.
No, you're right. There are some guys who are comfortable with a little scuff on the ball. They might be able to make it move a little bit more. Garza obviously not comfortable with that, so he changes the ball. He's pretty much a true fastball pitcher in that. I mean, a four-seam fastball, pretty straight. Occasional two-seamer. Might run it away from Eric Hinsky.
That's what he's done with the Pirates and the Yankees. He has 7 of those 8 home runs with the Yankees just in 26 games. Girardi's been playing Hinsky a lot of late. He wants to give his regulars a rest, and he also wants to get his guys on the bench ready in case they have the pinch hit in the postseason. Can't just push a button and expect them to be right if they don't play. Count 1 and 2.
Yeah, I know we've mentioned this a few times already, but it's really a luxury for the Yankees right now. You can play some of your bench guys, like you said, get their swing right, so if they have to pinch hit later on in postseason play, they'll feel a little bit more comfortable. You're also giving your regulars a day off, and Hinsky's been a great addition.
What was going on in that dugout, John, with the rolling pin? Or what looked like a rolling pin?
Looked like Iwamura, who's coming back from some knee problems. A little therapy on the knee, on the quad, loosen things up for that second game of the doubleheader. Probably starting a little bit too early. You're going to need that by about 9 o'clock tonight.
Will you do that for me, John?
No chance. No.
That's what teammates do, you know, help each other out.
I don't know if it goes so as far as we're teammates up here. We're just trying to get the job done. A long day. We talked about it in our batting practice show. You have your game plan for today, and I have mine.
And I'm not part of your game plan.
My game plan is not doing a little massage on your throat in about 9 o'clock. You're on your own.
Well, he is the cover boy, and he is the story of the day and of this homestand for the Yankees as they have a big lead. Not insurmountable, but big enough that they could feel comfortable. And his record is certainly the big story today as Hinsky swings and misses. With the Yankees rolling toward the playoffs, you won't miss an inning with live Yes Network games on your PCs and laptops. If you're a Verizon Fios TV customer with Fios Internet who watches Yes, log on to YesNetwork.com, Yankees.com, or Verizon.net/Yes to get more information and sign up for your subscription now. Well, that pretty much says it all right there. They'll switch seats when Jeter gets 4 hits. There's a strike to Melky Cabrera.
The Yankees did not take batting practice today. The Rays did not as well. But you know what? Derek Jeter was out on the field taking ground balls. The only player that came out to take ground balls today was Derek Jeter. Does that impress you, Michael?
You know what? It should impress me, but I expected of him because that's why he is who he is and doesn't take much for granted. It would be easy for him to show up at 11:30 because that's when the report time was, but He was here earlier, so yeah, it impresses me, but it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it impressed me. I mean, I was lucky enough to bring my boys today. They were hoping for a little batting practice. They didn't get to see that, but they saw Derek go out there, take some ground balls, get his work in, get loose, and get ready for the ball game.
And the 1-2. Yankee is hitting .385 over his last 11 games. Really turned it back on. 15 for 39. 276 now. Really having a good year at the bottom of the Yankee order. 2-2. Dribbled slowly toward third. Longoria bobbles, stays with it, and gets Melky Cabrera for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning here in the second. Well, we played 2 on a day when we will play 2. As we move to the third, it's Yankees 1 and the Rays 1. You're watching Yankees baseball right here on this. John, because it is Kimberly Jones' birthday and we got her a cake with the candle all lit. Blow it out, Kim. Make a wish. No, she's still here, so the wish didn't come true. There's a strike to Fernando Perez. Kim is 28 years old today, John.
Happy birthday, Kim. Not a better way to spend it than at Yankee Stadium for a day-night doubleheader with Michael Kay.
And John Flaherty.
Baking the cake.
I did bake it all night. Got home late and did it. Yep.
Where do you find the time?
You got to make the time, John. For friends, Kim's a friend. You got to make the time.
I'll let her try that cake out before I actually dive in.
She'll enjoy it. She will enjoy it. So happy birthday to Kimberly. On the Modell scoreboard, it's 1-1. Modell's the official sporting goods retailer of the New York Yankees. I'll tell Kim the same thing I always tell everybody on their birthday. May you live as long as you want, but never have to want as long as you live. Digest that, John. And then the cake. The 0-2. Perez could not hold up. Strikeout number 4. Boy, that breaking ball, John, is a devastating pitch for him today.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a strikeout pitch today. Already 4 strikeouts in the ball game, and a great view again. The action down and in. And if you're a right-handed hitter, you have to respect the velocity of the fastball. You start cheating a little bit. Slider, a big strikeout pitch.
Here's Jason Bartlett. And the pitch outside. It would almost seem, John, that you wouldn't want to get him 2 strikes because he could put you away with that. You put the ball in play before that. You don't want to take that many pitches against him.
No, if you get a good fastball to hit off of CC Sabathia, you better do something with it. Get behind in the count, it's going to be a long day. You can tell CC a little bit frustrated. That was a changeup that he yanked down and in. I mentioned earlier the fastballs have had a little cut action, moving in on right-handers. The only thing I see on the negative side today from CC. Another one.
Posada wants to talk at Sabathia.
And a lot of times it's how you finish, and a catcher can see that. Jorge Posada, he might be falling off the mound a little bit towards the third base dugout, and that'll cause a little yank on the fastball. You're a receiver behind the plate. You want your pitcher to come right through you. See if he can make the adjustment.
And the 3-0. He walked him on 4 pitches, so Bartlett's on first with 1 out. Second walk issued by Sabathia.
Well, Michael, you mentioned the Rays still fighting for that wild card. I think they're, what, 7 games back in the wild card race, something around there. And you talk to people around the Rays organization, they say, you know what, the starters haven't been quite as good, and because of that, the bullpen has really gotten beat up lately, and they're kind of running on fumes right now. Had some down years from some of their regulars and just can't repeat the magic of last year.
Foul back by Crawford. Also, they made a move a couple of weeks ago that kind of depressed the fans of the Rays, and I'm sure it didn't resonate that well in the clubhouse. They traded one of their best pitchers, Scott Kazmir, to the Angels. Now they got 2 pretty good prospects, but nobody that's going to help them right now. And that was when they were 3 games back in the wild card. Sabathia comes inside.
Hey, you know, Kazmir was starting to find his stride a little bit. I mean, he was turning his year around. But I guess the Rays felt like the prospects were a little bit more valuable. And again, Kazmir was one of those guys who doesn't really go deep into ball games. I mean, I think that's been a big problem for the Rays. They're starting pitching, unlike the Yankees and CC Sabathia, who goes deep in every ball game, it seems like.
And there's also a financial aspect to it, John, because Kazmir signed for 2 more years after this at $8 million and $12 million, so they take $20 million off the payroll. They've got very tough decisions they have to make. What do they do with Carl Crawford? A lot of these young players that have put good years together would be eligible for arbitration, and they're at a fixed level of what they can do with their payroll. So this way they clear that money for the next 2 years. Nobody likes to hear it, but it's a reality. The 1-2, foul back.
Finances have always been an issue in Tampa. I played there for 5 years, the first 5 years of their existence, and finances have always been an issue. So the general manager's going to have to do a good job of balancing the finances with some young talent. It seemed like last year everything seemed to go right for the Rays. This year having some injury problems. B.J. Upton not having the same year.
There's B.J. who's been out with a left ankle sprain. This is the 4th game he's missed. Heard it against the Red Sox.
The Rays are hoping for one last push. They actually play the Red Sox a few games, so they'll have to go up there and sweep it and see if they can do it, get back in the race.
Popped up left side, long run for A-Rod, and he can't get there. It's in the stands. Now Kazmir, as John said, was starting to pitch better with Tampa Bay. He was 4-1 in his last 6 starts, but they might have been thinking, well, now's the time we can trade him. You sell high and you buy low, and the Angels bought high, and maybe they know something about Kazmir that the rest of baseball doesn't. Maybe they don't think that he's going to be worth $20 million over the next 2 years. A tough decision for them, and it's affecting them. The 1-2, chop towards second base. They get 1 on to first. Crawford's too quick. 2 away. Let's take a look at tonight's starting pitchers for Game 2 of this day-night doubleheader, brought to you by Verizon Fios. This is Fios. This is big. Andy Sonnenstein, 6-8 with a 6.62 ERA, and A.J. Burnett is 10-8 with a 4.29. Coverage begins at 6:30 on Yes with our pregame show. And first pitch should be right around 7:07, 7:08.
Well, looking forward to watching AJ pitch tonight as Johnny Damon gets the first game off with his doubleheader. But AJ's at that point, he's really got to start getting it going now. September 7th, you want him to finish up the month strong. Talk about CC Sabathia, how he is in a good place. You really just want him to keep doing what he's doing. AJ needs to figure a few things out and get on a nice roll. Take a look at a scouting report on Ben Zobrist. He is Mr. Versatility. Can play the outfield, all the infield positions, and he's having a breakout year. Those numbers: 23 home runs, 72 RBIs, an all-star this year. And having a switch hitter in the middle of the lineup, very valuable for the Rays. Hit from both sides of the plate with some power. He had a nice year last year as kind of that versatile player, can play all over the place. Now got an opportunity to play every day, turned himself into an all-star, and playing second base now that Iwamura has been out for a while and now is back.
High drive, left field. Melky Cabrera shades his eyes from the sun and then puts it away for the final out of the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one man left on base. Let's go to the bottom of the third inning at the stadium. It's a 1-1 game. Well, we go to the bottom of the third inning. It's a 1-1 game on the Modell's scoreboard. Modell's the official sporting goods retailer of the New York Yankees. And look who's back for the Yankees. Brett Gardner activated before the game today. He was 1 for 11 in a rehab assignment in the minor leagues. But the wrist is fine, and he has missed baseball since July 26th. Almost 6 weeks.
Hard to believe he was 1 for 11. I mean, you would think he'd slap a few balls on the ground and beat out a couple of base hits.
Shows bunt, takes outside. People forget how valuable he was for the Yankees, but he gets on base. It's almost a double because he's got such great speed. Really an igniter for this team and makes the bench all the more better. Strike from Garza, 1-1.
Well, I guess one of the things we'll watch in September is what kind of an impact Brett Gardner makes again. We look forward to postseason play for the Yankees. Will Melky Cabrera be in center field? Will Brett Gardner take over if he has a strong September? Is Gardner more valuable on your bench as a guy who can come in, pinch run, and steal?
And you would almost think, John, that in October baseball, a guy like him is important because the Yankees hit a lot of home runs, but home runs are a lot harder to come by in October.
And that's why I say that. He might be more valuable as a bench guy in September. You know, you might be able to pinch run for a Jorge Posada in a tight ball game. I mean, he could be a Homer Bush in that he comes in and 2 or 3 pitches, he might be standing on third base when he pinch runs. So one of the things we'll pay attention to here in September.
And for those younger fans, Homer Bush, a big part of the 1998 Yankee team. He'd come off the bench. It was an automatic steal, it seemed like. What a weapon for Joe Torre to have.
And it wasn't just second base. It was he would steal second on the first pitch, and then within 2 pitches, he'd be standing on third base. A nightmare for a catcher.
Count is full on Gardner, 3-2.
I guess a nice problem to have if you're Joe Girardi, manager of the Yankees, trying to fit these pieces of the puzzle together.
Rounded up the middle, grabbed there by Bartlett. Well, he hasn't lost his speed, that's for sure, as Gardner is out on the 6-3, and here's Derek Jeter.
Number 2, Derek Jeter. Number 2.
Well, after the same amount of games at 2,115 games, you see that Derek had actually out-hit Lou Gehrig. And Lou Gehrig had scored more runs and also had a higher batting average. Right now, Jeter's 3 hits behind Gehrig. And they've already switched seats, I think. Pitches inside. Derek, the Yankees' first round draft pick, 6th pick overall in the June 1992 first-year player draft. Graduated from Kalamazoo Central High School and hit .508 there as a senior, but it did not go well for Derek in his first year in the minors. Was on the phone a lot, back to mom and dad, crying, didn't think he was going to make it. Had to get 4 hits his final day of the season in order to get his average over 200. And there is a young Derek Jeter.
High tops in the stirrups in high school. Good look.
Derek was so thin, he was 160 pounds, and when he first joined the Yankees, they used to make fun of him because of the high tops. And that was in Kalamazoo when he was in high school, and there was a lot of room between the high tops and the ankles because he was so thin. There's a soft ground ball to short. Bartlett gets Jeter for the second out. Remember when the Yankees drafted him, and you'll see him hustling out of the box. They brought him up to the radio booth to be interviewed by me and John Sterling. And very quiet, didn't really say much. And Derek, in most interviews, keeps to himself, and you could see that right from then. And then the next day, I went downstairs and I spoke with the then manager, Buck Showalter. And he said, well, what'd you think of the kid? I said, he seemed like he was a nice enough kid. He goes, I'll tell you what, he goes, I don't know what type of player he is. He said, but I met his mom and dad. He said, and I will tell you this, he's going to be the greatest kid and he'll never get into trouble and he's never, ever going to embarrass the Yankees. He said, what type of player, I have no idea. But the type of man he's going to become, you always judge that from the parents, and his parents are top of the line. So that was a pretty good scouting report from from Buck Showalter. And there's mom and dad, Dr. Charles and Dorothy. That one's driven deep to right field off the bat of Swisher, and it's out of play. I'm curious, John, did you have a greater appreciation for Jeter playing against him or once you were on the team?
Oh, definitely once you play with him. I mean, he's one of those guys that you play against and you don't appreciate him because you only see him for 3 games, maybe a 3-game set. Then you get the opportunity to go to spring training with him. You spend 162 days. And, I have people all the time ask me about Derek Jeter, and they say what you just brought up, that, he just does it the right way, not a lot of fanfare. His parents did a great job, but he's the same type of guy in the clubhouse. Same person every day. Treats people with respect, and obviously having a Hall of Fame career.
Do opponents like him or not?
I think opponents, I think they like him because you could see he's personable with them. You know, he acknowledges them. And when I was catching in Tampa Bay, he'd always have something to say when he came up to the plate.
Well, Jim Wolf had something to say. He told Nick Swisher, "You're out." So Matt Garza has picked things up since A-Rod's double. He has retired 7 in a row. We go to the 4th. It's 1-1. Slaving over hot stove all night. I actually baked 2 cakes, one for Kim and one for Susan Waldman, because it's also Susan's birthday and she has no idea that they're going to bring in a cake for her. And there is the cake. Susan's going to be surprised. And she's so happy. And now she's going to have to blow out the candle, but I don't know if she's going to do it. Not before this pitch. And the pitch to Peña, to Ibar is outside. Well, Sterling's eyeing that cake like a Wolverine looks at a steak right now. So happy birthday to Susan. She is also 28 today. Shattered bat and chopped toward Teixeira. And he's going to tag Ibar on the way by, 1 away.
Look at Carlos Silva up top. He's eyeing it too. Wants a piece. Leaning over, can't wait.
Yeah, everybody's acting like they got an advanced tip on a famine. It's unbelievable. They've never seen cake in their lives.
They've heard about your baking skills.
How was the cake?
I just sampled the first one you made. It was delicious. So I'm hoping that Susan's is just as good. Where do you find the time? It's incredible.
You make time for friends, John. That's what you should always use as a motto. Here's Pat Burrell. When's your birthday, John?
October.
October what?
Late October.
October what? We missing the day or what?
It's October 21st.
All right.
1985.
If the Yankees are in it, 1985. If the Yankees are still playing in the postseason, I'll bake you one.
I look forward to that. You gonna bring it to the house?
I would hope that you'll be working the games with me. Post-game, pre-game. Yes, we'll have complete coverage throughout the postseason. The 2-0. Fouled out.
See, the problem is we usually don't work together lately. Like, you'll probably be at the field doing your thing, and I'll be in the studio with Bob Lorenz, possibly, if I get invited.
I would think you would, and I would think that Bob would have no part of cooking you a cake, baking you a cake.
Well, he has plenty of candy up there. He'll just put a
candle in an M&M.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's going to be a surgical procedure. 2-1. There's a strike. 2-2. We're in the 4th inning. It's a 1-1 game. First game of a day-night doubleheader on Labor Day between the Yankees and the Tampa Bay Rays. The defending American League champion Tampa Bay Rays. And the 2-2. Still 2-2. Rays at 72 and 64. John mentioned they're 7 back in the wild card. They're behind 2 teams. Boston's in first. Texas 3 behind. And then Tampa is 7 behind the Red Sox and 4 behind the Rangers. Seattle's only 8 back. So they're a game behind Tampa Bay. Seattle really has hung in there. 2-2. Ground ball to Jeter. 2-away. Time for the New York State Smokers Quick Line Quiz. Let's take a look at this question. Lou Gehrig passed Babe Ruth to become the Yankees' all-time hits leader. Now, who did Babe Ruth pass when he became the all-time hits leader? It's going back a long way. We'll find that out at the bottom of the inning. Babe. Well, when you walk around the stadium, John, and you get a chance to look at all those pictures, they're so great. If you're a Yankee fan, it's almost like a photographic memory book throughout the years, and the photos that were culled from the Daily News archives. Just tremendous stuff. Called Glory of the Yankees Photo Collection. And the 1-1. Popped up down the right field line and out of play. Longoria, his first time up, hit a home run the other way into the first row of seats in right field. And here it is in the second inning.
You see Jorge Posada setting up away and cut back to the middle of the plate. 29th home run of the year, 101 RBIs. Longoria having another big year for the Rays.
No sophomore jinx for Longoria. And there's always that concern. Rookie, his second year, takes things for granted. The league learns him, and he doesn't have as good a season. Longoria has not fallen victim to that. Popped up, shallow center. And Gardner comes on. He'll make the play for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning. We played 3.5 at the stadium. A lot of ones on the board, except in the error column for the Yankees. 1-1 game, going to the bottom. We go to the bottom of the fourth inning. Let's take a look at the answer to the New York State Smokers Quitline quiz. Who did Babe Ruth pass when he became the all-time hits leader? It's a great guy to pass. Wally Pipp. Wow. Going full circle because that's who Lou Gehrig replaced. Everything's intertwined, John.
We have Mark Teixeira, the first baseman, coming up to the plate.
Henry Louis Gehrig, 1903 to 1941. A man, a gentleman, and a great ball player. High pop-up. Sky-high pop-up. Second baseman Zobra's called off by Kapler, and he makes the play. It's time for the Toyota text poll. Today's question is, with Derek Jeter nearing the all-time Yankee hit record, which of these Jeter moments would you most like to have been present for? Your choices are: number 1 is first hit, number 2 the flip play, number 3 Mr. November, number 4 diving into the stands against the Red Sox. You can text your vote to 58772. Standard text messaging rates apply. Here's Alex Rodriguez. There was a story in the Daily News today that John Sterling, the Yankee radio broadcaster, is the only human being other than Derek Jeter that's been in the ballpark for every single one of Derek Jeter's hits. I guess Gene Monahan has been, but Gene is in the clubhouse sometimes. John has seen every single hit live in Derek Jeter's career.
I think Gene Monahan also has maybe taken a day off here and there with Stevie Donahue covers for him, no?
I've never seen that. But Steve and Gene, one of them always has to be in the clubhouse. So they didn't see it live. They've both been here for every single game, I believe. But John has definitely broadcasted every single game since Derek came up in '95.
Stevie Donahue in the dugout.
That one is punched into right field, a base hit. And it's bubbled by Kapler. But A-Rod will stay right there. He's 2 for 2.
Well, the first hit for Alex Rodriguez was a rocket to left field. This one, he just sticks his bat out and flips it out to right. Another base hit. Pitch off the plate away. Nice plate coverage. Doesn't try to do too much. Using the whole field. Because of that, the batting average creeping up into the close to the 280 range now.
Here's Robinson Cano. Strike to Robinson Cano. And the 0-1. Outside 1-1. With A-Rod's hit, he's 2 for 2. It's his 21st multi-hit game of the season. And as he moves up on 280, that ice cream is good. A lot of that lollipop is on the mouth rather than in the mouth. Kids having a good time at the ball. You know why they're all having a good time? Because this is their last day before they go back to school. A lot of kids start going back to school this week. Some have already gone back. Crawford shading his eyes will make the play as Alex Rodriguez lopes back to first. Your kids go back this week, John?
My kids go back on Wednesday, and they're ready. They said that they're ready to go back to school, get into the routine again. I know that mom and dad are ready to get them back to school.
It's almost like a babysitter disguised as education.
See, that's spoken like a person who is not a parent right there.
Am I wrong, though?
You're not 100% wrong, but you know what? Let's get them to school and stimulate their minds, get them ready for a possible Fordham education down the road.
Good choice by you. I'll make a call if you need.
I'm all right.
Posada had a really good road trip for the Yankees. He was 7 for 19. That's 368. He had 3 home runs and 8 ribbies on the 7-game trip. Really swinging the bat well. You know, we talked about this a lot during spring training, John. Are you surprised that he has gone through the season without any apparent problems with the shoulder after having serious shoulder surgery?
Yeah, I'm shocked. I mean, I pretty much went through the same surgery when I was 20 years old, and it took me a full year to recover.
And Posada was there on opening day as he grounds out to second for the final out of the 4th inning. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We go to the 5th here at the stadium. It's a 1-1 game. Rays and the Yankees. Stadium. It's a 1-1 game as we go to the top of the 5th inning. It'll be the bottom third of the order on the Lexus scoreboard. 1-2-0 for the Yanks. 1-1-1 for Tampa Bay, and the 1 error for Tampa Bay led to that Yankee run in the 1st inning. Gabe Kapler will lead off against Sabathia. The Rays are trying to snap a 4-game losing streak. They've also lost 8 of their last 11. So playing like this, being out of the playoff picture at this point, you wonder, was last year an aberration, or is this year the aberration and they'll be back again? But if they're already running into money problems where they have to trade players because of money, you wonder, John, if it was a very, very short window that's closed.
I think they still have enough pitching and enough exciting young players. Their farm system has been productive. If you're Joe Madden, the manager, you're going to have to do a nice job of mixing and matching those veterans. You can see 7 games back in the wild card. I think they have enough good young pitching to kind of stay where they're at. And if you have one of those years like last year where everything goes right, you got a chance to do something special.
What's scary, though, is that now, because they won 97 games last year, they did not have top draft picks like they usually did. And then they didn't sign either of their #1 draft picks. So now, if your farm system is your salvation, and you don't sign your #1 draft picks, that doesn't bode well.
You got to trust your scouts on getting those mid-round guys, those 10th round picks.
Did he go? No, he did not.
Another good slider from Sabathia, but you trust your scouting system to really develop some of those guys, the 5th to 10th round players. Another look at the slider down and in. Nice block by Posada.
Rip foul.
And watching Andy Pettit right there with Sergio Mitre, you got to think maybe they're talking about a cutter. Andy obviously has a good one from the left side. Mitre, that would be a nice pitch for him to keep those lefties off of the sinker. Sometimes you pick up a grip from another pitcher, and the next thing you know, you come up with a new pitch. Could change your career.
Foul. One thing I've noticed about this starting rotation, John, they are always together during games. They're always sitting together, and it's almost like school is in session. You can learn something from Andy Pettitte if you're Sergio Mitre.
Well, there's no doubt. You always see the guys on the top rail, and another good slider for a strikeout at Catholic from Sabathia. It's been the go-to pitch today, especially to finish off some of these right-handed batters. Perfect down and in. Posada getting his blocking work in on the slider. Another good angle here. You know what, Michael, and then the guys who go out there every day, they appreciate when the starting pitchers are sitting there on the top rail watching the game, cheering for their teammates. There's nothing worse than a few guys in the rotation who are spending the whole game up in the clubhouse. As an everyday guy, you appreciate the starters down in that dugout.
And we've talked about it over the last couple of weeks. Roger did not sit on the bench a lot. Mike Messina didn't sit on the bench a lot. Randy Johnson didn't. And after those guys left, players spoke about, gee, that was not a cool thing. You know, we'd much rather have had them on the bench because they want us cheering for them when they're pitching. But some pitchers don't feel comfortable if they're not pitching to be on the bench.
Well, and you know what, the names that you just said, I mean, those guys have earned the right pretty much to do what they want to do when the game is going on. They get their work done before the game, and then if they want to sit on the bench and watch, that would be great. I mean, teammates respect that. A guy like Jabba Chamberlain should be on the bench every day because he's a younger player. But those veterans that you mentioned, they earn that right to do what they want.
Line drive, base hit off the bat of Navarro. A one-out single.
Navarro picks up a base hit on an 0-2 count. It was a changeup, and it wasn't a bad one. Down and away. Give Navarro a little bit of credit, just going down to get it, staying on the ball, and slapping it right back up the middle. Good pitch, but better piece of hitting.
Here's Fernando Perez. He was in the postseason last year, and they expected big things out of him this year, but he missed 130 games just back after left wrist surgery. There's a strike. He's one of the Ivy League guys in the big leagues. There was a great story in USA Today the other day. I don't know if you saw it. The smartest guys in the world, and they have all these Ivy League guys that play in the major leagues, like Craig Breslow and Ross Ollendorf and Brad Ausmus, who's from Dartmouth, and how they're the guys that they're looked at as the weird guys, but they get asked all the questions. And people will walk by Brad Ausmus's locker and ask him like this outrageous question, and he'll make up an answer, and I'll think it's true.
Where were you on that list?
I was not even in the top 1,000.
10?
Not even the top 1,000.
Shocked.
Did you look at guys with the I mean, you were a college grad. Did they look at you as kind of a brainiac?
They might have. I definitely would have had them fooled if they thought that way, but
that one's driven out to right center field. Brett Gardner on the run. He dives and makes the play. They'll try to double him up. Do they get him? No. Oh, what a play by Gardner. Look at where he caught that ball. How much real estate he covered. An outstanding play in his first game back.
you can't teach this. This is the one tool that you can't teach. It's speed. Watch the ground that Brett Gardner covers. He picked out a spot. He ran to it. Makes an outstanding play. Ball is slicing a little bit left to right away from Gardner. Covers a lot of ground. Nick Swisher gives it up to Gardner to make the play. Sliding catch and comes up with a strong throw. Just can't complete the double play. CC Sabathia appreciates it.
They're going to appeal at second, see if Navarro had tagged it on the way back. If you take a look at how much ground he covered, it's amazing, because he started off right about here and he made the play about the 6th inning of the scoreboard. So he covered all of that ground. I mean, that's unbelievable. That is just unbelievable. I mean, he was in right field when he made that play. Here's Jason Bartlett. There's a strike. Look at the ground he's going to eat up. On the run, keep going. He's going to be the names of the teams. And catch it about the 5th inning. His slide there on the warning track.
Guys out in the bullpen got a good look at that running play. Brett Gardner was running right in front of them.
Bartlett fouls it back.
And Michael, it's going to go back to what's more valuable. Brett Gardner in center field making defensive plays like that. Hitting in the 9th spot in the order, being the guy who can steal a base, maybe hit a double or a triple. Melky Cabrera, switch hitter, more power.
Runner goes, 1-2 is outside. And the throw to second not in time. They didn't pay attention to Navarro, so Posada had no chance. Stolen base for the Rays catcher.
Be one of those stolen bases you would wish that Jorge Posada not even throw the ball. Navarro had such a big jump. Like you said, Michael, Sabathia not even paying attention.
The 2-2. And the count now full at 3-2 for Navarro's 5th stolen base of the season. Carl Crawford on deck. This comprehensive telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the aforementioned New York Yankees.
See if CC goes with that slider. It's been his bread and butter pitch all day long on the right-handed batters.
3-2. And Bartlett takes it, and he walks.
Went with a changeup, missed on a 3-2 changeup to Bartlett. Brings up Carl Crawford with 2 outs.
Crawford's 0 for 2. Struck out and grounded to second. Foul ball.
Jorge Posada just had a pickoff play on with Derek Jeter as a pitch count up at 73 for Sabathia. Jorge's trying to pick off Navarro at second base after he stole that base. Got a perfect pitch to throw on. Crawford just fouled it off.
You know, the walk to Bartlett is the 3rd walk issued by Sabathia.
See Derek Jeter going behind. They had a little timing play, and I'll tell you what, they would have had Navarro. If Carl Crawford swings through that pitch, Jorge Posada had a clear throwing lane, would have had a good shot at picking off Navarro.
Count 2-1.
Just watching Jorge Posada and Derek Jeter, I mean, the amount of games that those guys have played together, you wouldn't really even need a sign. It would almost just be like a little look, a little acknowledgement. We're on the same page. We've done this a million times before.
A little bit of a cloud cover, so Jeter takes off the sunglasses. And the 2-1. 2-2. Navarro is at second. Bartlett's at first. 2 men out. Top of the 5th inning. 1-1 game. Sabathia has walked more than 2 for the first time since July 18th, which was 9 starts ago. So 3 walks today. 2 to Bartlett. And Posada will talk things through with his big left-hander. Is that just to give a verbal sign, John, because the guy's been at second base for a couple of the pitches?
I mean, it could be. I mean, there are times behind the plate where you're like, you know what, I just feel more comfortable going out there and actually talking about a pitch maybe. You know, what do you see? Do you think a slider's good here? Could be about Navarro being at second base. A lot of thoughts go through your mind behind the plate.
2-2. And you saw after he spoke with him, he did not give a sign, so it was a verbal sign. Maybe he gave 2. Let's see if he gives a sign now with Zobrist waiting on deck.
Just missed with the slider on a 2-2 count. They say that if you're going to throw a 2-2, you might as well throw a 3-2. See what CC is thinking.
Runners go. 3-2. He swings and misses. Crawford down on strikes. And Sabathia rings up a 6th strikeout, a big one. And thanks to Brett Gardner, the Rays don't score. Fernando Perez hits one to right center field. Gardner on his horse dives, and he makes the play. A nice re-entry into the Yankee universe. Official hybrid vehicle of the New York Yankees. Eric Hinsky will lead off here in the 5th against Matt Garza. And the pitch is inside. 1-0.
Matt Garza has been going at everybody with fastballs. You see on our Lexus scoreboard, we have a tie ball game. But Eric Hinsky's thrown a lot more off-speed pitches. Struck him out his first at bat.
Count 1-1. Bottom of the order for the Yankees against the Rays right-hander. You know, Garza pitches well against the American League East. He has a 2.84 ERA against teams in the American League East, and only one other pitcher has a lower ERA against American League East teams, and that pitcher is Mariano Rivera with a 2.50 against the AL East.
You can see why. I mean, Garza stands there. I mean, Cecil Fielder always used to say, look at him, he's standing a little crooked. It tells you he's feeling good about his stuff, and he just comes right at you. It's the only way to pitch in this division. You can't pitch scared. You can't pitch away from contact. You have to challenge people, and numbers have been good for him. Confident pose right there.
Standing crooked.
A little crooked, Cecil. Look at him. He's standing a little crooked out there, feeling good about his stuff.
Nothing crooked about that pitch. Strikeout looking, Barakinski.
And Eric struck out his first at bat on some off-speed pitches. Just got frozen with a fastball.
Well, celebrate the inaugural season of Yankee Stadium tomorrow, September 8th, when the Yankees take on the Rays. The first 22,000 fans in attendance are going to receive a Yankee Soup Bowl, courtesy of Boar's Head. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Here's Melky Cabrera. He grounded to third in the second. And there's the strike. Now 1-1. Now, a lot of the pitchers that played such a large role for the Rays last year are not having the same sorts of seasons. And you wonder, is it because it's the year after they pitched innings they'd never pitched before? They pitched games they'd never pitched before. They pitched in a month that they'd never pitched before. Sometimes that's what happens. And if you look at the history of baseball, I think that's what happened to the White Sox after the 2005 season. All those innings those starters pitched might be happening here with the Rays.
Yeah, think about Justin Verlander, the same thing. He had that great year, and then maybe 1 or 2 years weren't so hot. Now he's back this year with dominant stuff. Garza's numbers really aren't that bad. I mean, opponents aren't hitting that well against him. He doesn't get a whole lot of run support. Shields, his numbers are down. He's not the same pitcher, so probably a good point there.
A lot of their bullpen's not the same. And Melky Cabrera works a walk. In fact, speaking of their bullpen, John, since August 6th, their bullpen has thrown 8 of 12 save opportunities.
Well, their bullpen's running on fumes right now, and I mentioned the starting pitching not going deep into ball games, and because of that, the bullpen has been overworked. And they have a lot of guys down there who are like situational pitchers. You know, Randy Choate, a lefty who drops down a little bit, Bradford, a righty who drops down. So they're not long inning guys. They're kind of situational pitchers, and because of that, the bullpen is running on fumes at this point in the year.
Well, Troy Percival hurt. Jason Isringhausen hurt. So guys that they thought could close for them haven't been there. So Joe Madden has had to mix and match. Gardner grounded to short. In the third, Red Sox take a 1-0 lead over the White Sox in the bottom of the third in Chicago. Tap back to the mound. Garza underhands the first and almost lost the play, but they get the out on Gardner as Cabrera advances to second.
A lot of pitchers are not comfortable throwing the ball to first base. You see Gardner just slaps it into the ground, hustling down the line. Garza decides to go with the underhand flip, more comfortable with that. Able to make the play. Watch Gardner getting out of the box. Head down, digging. By about half a step.
Here's Derek Jeter. Derek is 0 for 2. Had 3 hits yesterday to move him to within 3 of tying Lou Gehrig for the most hits in Yankee franchise history. He's 4 away. from standing alone. One captain chasing another. Cabrera is on second with 2 men out. No one is holding Cabrera on. Bartlett is shaded toward the hole. Zobrist is way off the bag, and Cabrera is getting a huge lead at second.
See Perez in center field shading towards right center. A lot of room for Derek Jeter if he decides to pull the ball to left field.
Strike, count 1-1.
All right, Michael, is Derek Jeter the MVP of the American League?
You know what? It's between Jeter, Teixeira, and Mauer, but you look at Mauer's numbers as a catcher, and it's going to be hard not to give it to Mauer. What do you think?
I guess I'm pulling for Derek just because defensively I feel he's better than he's been in years. 24 stolen bases. I mean, the batting average speaks for itself. Power numbers.
And 4 hits away from passing number 4.
But is it one of those things where we watch this guy every day and appreciate what he does, kind of the intangibles and playing the defense, and a lot of the writers around the country aren't going to get to see that every day?
Could be. But everybody that you talk to, obviously he's friends with a lot of the writers that have votes, and they say you can't ignore a guy who catches who's hitting 370. And Mauer is having an unbelievable year. Jeter should have beaten out Justin Morneau when Morneau won the MVP. And maybe there was an anti-Yankee bias at that time, and they didn't want to vote for Jeter. And maybe he gained more of an appreciation if you see him every day, as you said. But Mauer's going to be tough to ignore. The 2-2. Strike 3. Jeter down looking. So the Yankees strand a runner in scoring position. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We played 5 here at the stadium. First game of a doubleheader. It's 1-1. Fresh brewed cup of coffee. Yes, we get our Green Mountain K-Cup coffee system from the same people who bring us our office supplies. WB Mason, who but? We go to the 6th inning. It's a 1-1 game, each team with just 2 hits. And Ben Zobrist will lead off. You know, it's weird, John. Obviously, so much attention today toward that lollipop and also Derek Jeter's pursuit of Lou Gehrig. Wow, that's going to be some cleanup. In the mouth, kid, not on the cheek.
See the dad, he's got the napkin out. He's going to try and start working on it. Don't even bother. You just wait. Wait until the lollipop's done and then go get after it.
Anyway, lost amidst the Jeter chase is that these 2 pitchers are hooking up to a real pitcher's duel right now. This is a game that the Rays desperately need, and the Yankees, want to keep putting wins up on their slate.
It's a tie ball game, only 2 hits apiece and 1 error by Bartlett proving costly at this point. Garza looks good. He's got the good fastball, locating it, challenging the Yankee hitters. CC Sabathia has had that devastating slider. And a changeup in the location on the fastball, not 100% today, but the slider's so good, getting away with it.
Well, the Sox have tied the Sox 1-1 in Chicago. That's in the bottom of the third. We'll keep an eye on that, and I'm sure that Tampa Bay's keeping an eye on that. Yankee lost yesterday, Red Sox win, so the Yankee lead is 7.5 in the East. Zobrist fouls it back. For the Rays, this game begins an 11-game, 11-day road trip. New York, Boston, and Baltimore. Now, the Rays have not played well against the first-place teams in the American League. They're 9-16 against first-place teams. Last year, they were 22-9 against first-place teams, and they were a first-place team as well. 2-2. 3-2.
Well, they go to Boston right after this. Well, there's your whole season right there. Rays come in here. You have a 4-game set. Probably thinking you have to take 3 out of 4. Then you got to go to Boston. Thinking about a sweep. If you don't do it, I'd have to believe at that point your season's probably close to over.
14.5 behind the Yankees, so that's a pipe dream. But 7 behind the Red Sox certainly doesn't seem like it's a good chance to be done. But you still have games left with the Red Sox, as John mentioned. 3-2. Blew it right by him. Strikeout number 7 for Sabathia.
For the second half of the year, the strikeout numbers really have been piling up. You see the grip on the fastball. Nothing fancy here. Right down the middle of the plate. 96 miles an hour. Zobrist probably thinking about that slider in the back of his mind. He's seen it so much. CC throws a fastball right by him.
The father still poised to wipe the face.
Oh, it's all going to stick all over him. That's just that's a rookie move right there.
And the kid puts it right back on the face.
Just wait.
As Ibar lines a single away. You know what, though? You watch this swing, and the pitch was up, so he takes it the other way. But you look at that kid. When's the last time you were that happy? I wish I was that happy. The kid doesn't have a care in the world. He's got a lollipop, the Yankee game, sitting there with his dad. Not one care.
It's all cleaned up now.
He's ready. He's going to roll. I think he's taking a lollipop from him. Can't remember being that happy. Sad. Pitches outside to Pat Burrell. At least 7 strikeouts in 7 straight games for Sabathia.
You mentioned the strikeout totals are increasing the second half of the year. Our good buddy David Cohn, they says that's a difference between a #1 guy and maybe a #2 or 3 is the ability to strike people out, especially in big spots. He's got to be happy with where their #1 guy is at this point in the season.
That little kid came to the game just for Kim and Susan. Happy birthday wishes. Kim will be doing the second game pregame with that hat on her head. How you doing? The 2-1. 3-1. Now it's 3-1. White Sox over the Red Sox, bottom of the third. So the game takes on even more of an urgency for Joe Madden and his team. Runner on first with one out. Dribbled slowly to Jeter. He charges, has one play. He makes it at first as Ibar advances to second. Now Joe Girardi jogs out. And I guess the decision here is, do you want to walk Longoria, John?
Might be a conversation about that. Got first base open.
Kapler is an easier hitter to get, I would assume, than Longoria.
Yeah, you saw CC shake his head right away. It looks like he wants to go get Longoria. See what they decided.
Now, is that totally the pitcher's call, or is it the manager?
It's going to be a conversation, obviously, with a guy like CC, and you see the home run for Longoria, fastball out over the plate. You know, my first reaction there, Michael, when Joe Girardi came out at this point in the ballgame, you just want to make sure that CC is not hurt. Obviously, he's not. It looks like they're going to walk Longoria.
Now, obviously, the move will be judged on what Kapler does, but whatever Kapler does, I think that this is the move to make. Longoria, probably a future MVP in the American League, has 101 RBIs, already hit a home run. I think this is the move that you make. And if you remember, a big hullabaloo earlier in the year, John, where Girardi had Mariano Rivera walk Longoria earlier in the season. And then Mo said after the game that he wanted to pitch to him. So it does come down to the manager. The pitcher has input. Time for another look at today's Toyota text poll. Once again, the question was, with Derek Jeter nearing the all-time Yankee hit record, which of these Jeter moments would you most like to have been present for? Here's how you voted. 44% wanted to be here for the dive into the stands against the Red Sox, which means that they would be here for John Flaherty's big hit. Mr. November 27, the flip play 24, and the first hit 5%. You've been texting us at 58772, and those are the results. And there's a strike. I was lucky enough to be there all four.
That man has given you a lot of memories. The flip play in Oakland in the playoff game has to be one of the highlights.
Pretty much sums up Jeter, that play. It's not going to be in a box score. It's heads up. Foul back, 0-2. Let's take a look at the flip play. Shane Spencer overthrew the cutoff man, and that's why Jeter was where he was. And Jeremy Giambi didn't slide, and all the planets aligned for a great Yankee postseason moment. And Jason Giambi actually signed with the Yankees after that year, and in spring training he said, I want to see you guys practice that. And that is something they actually work in spring training, where everybody has a responsibility after another thing breaks down. The 0-2 missed inside.
Well, I was out working the Oakland games when the Yankees were out there a couple of weeks ago, and F.P. Santangelo is doing a little TV work out there, and he was in camp with the Yankees, I think, in 2002. And he was amazed, was mentioning that the Yankees actually work on that play and the positioning of it. He actually thought he should have been pinch running for Jeremy Giambi, who was standing on the top step waiting to be called. He didn't get the call, and obviously the rest is history.
And also, it made no sense for Jeremy not to slide. I mean, you slide, Jorge probably can't make that tag if you slide it on the outside part of home plate. But everything worked out. As I said, the planets aligned. The 1-2 upstairs. That was the 100th pitch by Sabathia.
The 100th was a good one. I mean, Kapler's one of those guys you can tie up inside with the fastball. Kind of has a different swing in that it's a little bit longer, but he's got some power, and CC trying to tie him up with the fastball just misses. But if you throw a slider to Kapler, which has been a good pitch for CC all day, you better make sure it's down and in, because that's really the pitch Kapler can drive.
2-2. Came inside, but Kapler held up. So now the count full at 3-2. That releases the base runner, so they have an advantage. Navarro's on deck.
Back-to-back pitches inside to Kapler. A fastball up and in, a slider down and in. Jorge Posada, CC Sabathia, you have some options. Could go with that changeup down and away. Joe Girardi moving the defense, moving the outfielders.
Move Melky more toward the line. A little bit deeper. Runners go. The 3-2. He struck him out. 95. And Kapler goes down for the 8th strikeout of the game for Sabathia. So the intentional walk paid off as Kapler swings through a 3-2 pitch. The Rays strand 2. We go to the bottom of the 6th. The first pitch of the game, and Sabathia dials up 95. John, pretty impressive.
Well, he's got plenty left in the tank, and you know we always talk about it. You could throw the pitch count out the window with CC. Seems to go 115, 120. See if Joe Girardi wants to stretch him out in the 7th inning.
It'll be Swisher, Teixeira, and Rodriguez. Yankees have just 2 hits in the game, and both of them by Alex Rodriguez. And Rodriguez doubled in the first inning, drove in their only run after Teixeira reached on an E6. Swisher fouls it away.
Well, Nick Swisher making a little bit of an adjustment. We talked about the home numbers versus the road numbers. He's taking a black bat up there with him, trying a new piece of lumber, maybe trying to change his luck a little bit here at Yankee Stadium. Whatever it takes.
And he gets a base hit here at the stadium. A leadoff single in the 6th.
It's just a veteran hitter making an adjustment. Sometimes it's not the swing or the approach, it's the piece of lumber you have in your hands. Nice job changing it up, going to the black bat right off the end. Slap it right back up the middle.
So that'll bring up Teixeira. The shift is on. 3 infielders on the right side. And Garza starts him off inside 1-0. Missed outside 2-0.
Exaggerated shift for Mark Teixeira. Bartlett playing well to the right side. Now Longoria going to shortstop.
Teixeira didn't like that call. I thought it was outside, with the count 2-1.
Talked about Garza's got a four-seam fastball. This one has a little bit of movement. It's a two-seamer. Looked like it finished off the plate. Garza gets the call from Jim Wolf, the home plate umpire. And Mark's a little bit late right now with his timing, his mechanics. Looks like he's getting things going a little bit too late. Got beat with that fastball there. When he's right on time, that front foot gets down nice and early. You're Garza and you see Teixeira get beat with that fastball, you go right back to it. You don't want to do him a favor by throwing an off-speed pitch.
Goes outside, and the count now full at 3-2. Do they send Nick Swisher on 3-2? He's looking across the diamond at Rob Thompson. Alex Rodriguez is on deck.
Going with a curveball here. This might be good news for Mark Teixeira.
Strike 3. Wasn't. He was frozen. Expected something different.
Garza's been going with the fastball to him, and then a 3-2 count. Just dropped the curveball middle of the plate. Really wasn't located well. It was just Mark got fooled. Looking for a fastball. He knows it. It was pretty much middle. Thought that might have been right on time with Mark getting ready a little bit late. Just got caught looking.
And here's Alex Rodriguez. His 2 for 2 has brought the average up to 280 now. One and 0. RBI double over the head of Crawford in the first, then dunked a single right in the fourth. Whispered across the outside corner, 1-1. Count 2-1.
Well, Alex has done a nice job in the second half. His numbers have gotten better, but that leg kick is not as dramatic as it was in the first half of the year. You see the numbers against Garza. Outstanding, 429 with 1 home run. See Alex's stance a little bit wider than it was at the beginning. The leg kick not as drastic, and because of that, using his hands a little bit better.
That one is dumped into center field. It's a base hit. 3 for 3 for Alex Rodriguez. Swisher stops at second.
There just aren't as many moving parts in his swing right now. Watch the front leg. Comes up just a little bit. Not as drastic as it was early on. Puts it down early. And just stays inside. Doesn't hit it on the sweet spot, but strong enough to drop it into center field. 3 for 3. Much simpler swing mechanically for Alex Rodriguez.
24 hits over 8 games, so his 8th 3-hit game of the season. Now he's over 280. Had yesterday off. That was his day off for the week. There's some uncertainty whether or not he'll play the second game today. First and second, Cano at the plate. Popped up behind the plate, now to play. Grounded left side, backhanded by Bartlett. On to second, that's all they'll get. Nice play by Bartlett, range into the hole, and the Yankees have runners on first and third with 2 outs for Posada. Tomorrow night, catch the Yes Network debut of Inside Notre Dame Football. Have a lot to talk about. They really slapped around Nevada every week at the Inside Scoop from South Bend, including highlights, commentary from Coach Weiss, and news and notes of everything Irish. It's the season premiere of Inside Notre Dame Football tomorrow at 7, only on Yes. You know, Charlie Weiss probably watching this game in his office right now. He's a huge Yankee fan. And now Notre Dame is part of the Yes family. Posada 0 for 2 against Garza. Go-ahead runs at third base for the Yankees. That's Nick Swisher. Count 1-0. Yanks are hitless in 3 at-bats with runners in scoring position today. 94 pitches for Garza, 54 strikes. Count 2-0. Sabathia, no one warming in the Yankee bullpen. He's going to pitch the 7th. And the count 3-0 with Eric Hinsky on deck.
Eric Hinsky struck out twice against Garza. It looks like they're being very careful with Jorge Posada.
Jim Hickey, the pitching coach. Do they turn Posada loose on 3-0? Taking, and the count 3-1.
Makes Garza so tough. I mean, it's a 3-0 count, and he's able to locate that fastball right on the outside corner. It's a strike, but it's not a good pitch to hit if you're Jorge Posada. Keep making those pitches and hitters count, you're going to have a good day, which he's done so far today.
That one is drilled to right field. Kapler back, still back, and he makes the play on the warning track for the final out of the 6th. So Posada hit it hard, but Kapler ran it down. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. 6 innings here at the stadium. It's a pitcher's duel. It's 1-1 as we go to the 7th. Garza's enjoying himself. vehicle of the New York Yankees. A pitcher's duel here at the stadium on Labor Day. CC Sabathia against Matt Garza. And as we go to the 7th, it's 1-1. 102 pitches for Sabathia. Those are the pitches per inning. So he expended a lot of energy in the 5th and the 6th, but he's out there for the 7th. He'll face Navarro, Perez, and Bartlett. And no one's warming in the Yankee bullpen. The KGB scoreboard, 1-4-0 Yanks, 1-3-1 Tampa Bay. And the pitch to Navarro is low and away, 1-0. Navarro grounded to third, then singled to right center. Also stole a base, his 5th stolen base of the year. Five years ago today, Viana Navarro actually made his major league debut for the Yankees. He's out of the Yankee farm system, and it was against the Rays.
Teammate of mine. Well, I think that was maybe obviously a September call-up. Prospect coming up with the Yankees.
Grounded sharply to short. Jeter's right there. One away. Sabathia with 8 strikeouts.
Take a look at the strikeouts from CC. A fastball down the middle. Goes with a slider for Peña, and he ends his day. Another slider to Pat Burrell. It's a common theme. The slider has been an outstanding pitch for CC all day. Down and into the righties. Down and away to Carl Crawford, the lefty. Power fastball when he needs it. He's had it all working today.
Now to bring up Fernando Perez as Alfredo Aceves begins to throw. Perez fouls it back.
Well, Michael's sitting here thinking it's got to be a fine line for Joe Girardi, the manager of the Yankees, when you have your #1 guy, the pitch count is over 100, and you're pretty much trying to get him ready for postseason play. But CC's mentality is 115, 120. Dave Island has to pay attention to that. It's got to be a tough thing for a manager to make those decisions. When to get him out of ball games to keep him fresh the rest of the way. Obviously in a pitcher's duel here, 1-1. But I'm sure Joe's going to be looking for some opportunities down the stretch. Maybe if you have some big leads, to get CC out a little bit early. He'll be ready to go down the stretch of postseason play.
Including this one, the Yankees have 25 games remaining in the season, so you have to feel good about a 7-game lead. But you know how managers are. They look at history, and a couple of years ago, the Mets had a 7-game lead with 17 to go and blew it. So you can't really go into cruise control totally, but you also have to keep it in the back of your mind. We want our guys fresh going into the postseason.
It's a fair point. I guess when I watch this Yankee team, though, I just don't see the chinks in the armor. You know, they play solid defense. Offensively, they're tough all the way through the lineup. Their rotation's solid. The bullpen's been fantastic. They seem to go out there and win series after series.
3-1. Strike. I agree with you, John. I couldn't see them doing it, but you know how managers are. They want to worry about everything. Now with Sabathia and Burnett pitching on the same day, one of them is going to get an extra day of rest because of the Thursday off day. So maybe that'll extend him just a bit because of that. Out of play. Top of the 5th inning, White Sox lead the Red Sox 3-1. That's in Chicago.
We're talking about #1 guy, CC Sabathia. Josh Beckett pitching that ball game. He's been scuffling a little bit for Boston. Getting beat up, going through a little rough stretch.
Beckett against Burley, and Burley since the perfect game has been anything but perfect. And the 3-2. Foul back. And the 3-2 pitch. Strike 3. Perez down looking. Strikeout number 9.
Perez, the number 9 hitter in the lineup. CC Sabathia not messing around. Good fastball, perfectly located down and away. Nice catch by Jorge Posada. You can see it nips the corner. It's another strikeout.
Well, here's Jason Bartlett, who has given Sabathia some trouble with 2 walks. He's 0 for 1. He popped to second in the first, then walked in the third, walked in the fifth. How's this for a great stat? And one of the reasons the Yankee bullpen has been so good. CC has now gone at least 6 2/3 innings in 24 of his last 27 starts. So, you know, every time you send him out there, you're not going to have to overuse the bullpen. And the 1-0. There's a strike.
He's everything you look for in a number 1 guy. I mean, he's a strikeout pitcher, goes deep into ball games, pitch count not a factor. Bullpen can take pretty much 6 innings off every time he goes out there and pitches.
Now, for those that are wondering, Mariano Rivera said yesterday, I could have pitched yesterday, and if they need me today, I could pitch. So his groin injury, he feels, is taken care of, and he's ready to roll if the Yankees need him. So he's out there putting a fresh piece of gum in, ready to roll. And the 1-2. Punch the other way. Fair ball. It's trouble. It's a foul ball.
Nice job by Bartlett just to foul that pitch off. CC trying to elevate a fastball up and in on his hands. And Bartlett, who's having an outstanding year this year, .333 batting average, does a nice job of just fouling this pitch off. Fights it off, but to get deep, almost gets rewarded with a base hit. It's a tough pitch just to foul off.
And the 1-2. 2-2. .117 pitches for Sabathia, 70 strikes. We're in the 7th, 1-1 game. Sabathia against Garza, Yankees and the Rays. First game of a day-night doubleheader here in the Bronx on Labor Day. The 2-2. He struck him out. Strikeout number 10 for CC Sabathia. Another splendid performance by the Yankee ace as the Rays go down 1-2-3. At the end of 6.5, it's time for the 7th inning stretch. Yankees won and the Rays won, but we stay right here and honor America here in the Bronx on this Labor Day Monday.
For the servicemen and women who are serving our country at home and around the globe. Thank you. Now please join Kate Smith as she sings God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with
game here at Yankee Stadium. On the KGB scoreboard, it's 1-1. So we came into the game thinking, okay, it's going to be all about Derek Jeter, but it certainly hasn't been that at all, John. It's been about Garza and Sabathia. They have both really done their job. They've been dealing from the very beginning. And Garza deals now to Eric Hinsky, who tried to untie it with that one swing.
Yeah, this has been kind of the story of Matt Garza's year. The Rays just don't score him any runs, and you really can't blame him today. CC Sabathia has been on top of his game. 10 strikeouts, so we got a pitcher's duel, bottom of the 7th.
The 0-1. You know, there are fans that are split, John. Some like high-scoring games, some like pitcher's duel. As a player, what do players prefer?
Well, I think as an ex-catcher, this is what you love. I mean, a pitcher's duel, 2 number-1 type guys going at it, throwing up a lot of zeros. Phil Hughes getting loose in the bullpen. There's a lot more strategy in a game like this than a slugfest.
I guess the hitters don't like it because there's a lot of overs.
Eric Hinsky's trying to figure out Matt Garza. He struck out a few times. First at bat, Garza went with a lot of off-speed pitches. Second at bat, a lot of fastballs. Right now, Eric Hinsky caught in between and in the hole, 1-2. We talked about it earlier, Michael. A lot more pressure on the Rays. Have to win these games. Obviously, the Yankees want to win these games, but not as much pressure. So you go into late inning situations. The Yankees are going to be nice and loose, relax, playing at home. Joe Maddon's ball club, a lot of pressure on them to stay in this wild card race and pick up a win.
Now we're talking about the Yankees' 7-game lead over the Red Sox, which is a healthy lead with 25 left to play. But you know, Nancy just mentioned something that we should not overlook. That was fouled away. They also want to have the best record in the American League. Not to thump their chest and say, oh, we're the best. But if you get against the Angels in the American League Championship Series, you want to have those 4 games here. And they're just 4 games ahead of the Angels, so they need to win games.
It's a great point. But like I mentioned before, I just don't see this. There's no let up in this team. Even when you think maybe after a game like yesterday where they played terrible in Toronto, and that's fine, they come back and play another quality game today. Position to pull out a W at the end of the day. Seems like a different team, Michael. You know, it's focused. You're looking at the best records there. They go out, they do their job every day. If they have a bad game, it's like they throw it out the window, come back, and get on a roll again.
The 2-2. Off speed. 3-2. Yankees have a game remaining with the Angels here, and then 3 more in Anaheim against the Angels, so those could play a huge role in the best record in the American League. And also psychologically, the Yankees want to do some damage against the Angels, get that out of the back of their mind. And I think every Yankee remembers those 3 games right before the All-Star game. Shattered bat popped up. High bar will make the play, 1 away.
You know, Michael, it's a good point. The Red Sox, they've kind of erased those demons. They have to do the same thing against the Angels. They're going to be a playoff club. You got to believe at some point they're going to face them. You want to get a few W's.
Well, today after the postgame, get the skipper's take on the recent tour of the American League East with WB Mason presents the Joe Girardi Show. And with the playoffs around the corner here, Joe's plans to keep the Yankees on top. It's the Joe Girardi Show today after the postgame and an all-new Sunday at 5, only on Yes. 1-1, bottom of the 7th. And here's Melky Cabrera. And the count 1-0. Slice foul. Oh, and that knocked over a beer. Or soda. Everybody's okay, but something went flying there. Everything's fine.
You get a baseball, you get a hug. A great day down there. Michael, we talked about CC Sabathia and the pitch count getting up to around 120. He's a horse. Garza, the same thing. His pitch count has been stretched out to 120 this year. 108 right now.
Cabrera's hitting .327 in 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. He's had 3 walk-off hits in a season of walk-off wins for the Yankees. He's been a big part of the Yankees' success. It's going to be interesting, as John mentioned earlier, the decision they make between Gardner and Cabrera if and when the postseason begins for them. The 2-2, 3-2. Lance Cormier warming in the bullpen for the Rays. 3 left-handers and 6 right-handers carried by Joe Madden. There's Brett Gardner. His first game back since his wrist injury. Here's the payoff to Cabrera. Hot shot and past the diving Ibar and the right field. So that average goes up for the late innings as Melky with a 1-out single.
Nice piece of hitting by Melky Cabrera. You see Navarro setting up in, and it's up and in. Nice job by Melky Cabrera getting to that spot. Being able to clear that fastball out. Ibar diving just underneath his glove. Peña came out of this ball game early. Ibar replaced him. Can't make the play. Melky Cabrera on first base with 1 out.
So Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, with a lot of words for Garza. Bring up Gardner.
Might be an opportunity for Joe Girardi to play a little hit and run, possibly with Melky at first. Gardner up, hitting in the 9-hole. Short stroke puts the ball in play. Garza has only walked 1 today. We're in a pitcher's duel. We'll see if Joe Girardi forces the action a little bit.
Strike on the outside corner. Gardner on the DL since July 26th. A couple of rehab games, 1 for 11. He's 0 for 2 today, but a great catch in right center field. Boy, is Fernando Perez playing Gardner shallow in center. Now, John, we've seen Gardner show some power. The left fielder Crawford, the center fielder Perez, they're playing at Little League depth out there.
Yeah, I think especially Perez in center field. I mean, Crawford is shallow and left, but Brett Gardner has a little bit of pop that way. Usually his power is a little pull power. You'd expect Perez in center field to play a little bit deeper. Problem for Brett Gardner right now in the hole 1 and 2. You really just got to concentrate on putting the ball in play off of Garza. Joe Madden talking it over with his bench coach Dave Martinez.
The 1-2. That one's bounced up there, and Cabrera takes off for second. He makes it. Heads up base running by Melky Cabrera.
The little things win you ball games in the tight games. This is a great job of base running. Right when Melky saw the ball in the dirt, he took off. Navarro does a nice job of blocking it, hustles it up, comes up with a strong, accurate throw. Just outstanding base running, good instincts by Melky Cabrera. Right when it's in the dirt, he took off. A nice block by Navarro. Nothing you can do. A tough play for a catcher to come out, rush, and make an accurate throw. He did everything he could do. Melky just made a great base running play.
So now the go-ahead run is in scoring position for Gardner. Cabrera, good speed, leads off second. It'll be tough to score on a single left or to center because they are playing so shallow. And the 2-2. Did not chase. And the count 3-2. And Derek Jeter's on deck. And the pitch. Strike 3, Gardner down looking.
Garza doing what he's done all afternoon, just challenging hitters.
Derek Jeter, number 2.
Great sign. Sorry, Lou. Here comes 2. Lou being Lou Gehrig with 2,721 hits. He's been atop the Yankee hit leaderboard for 72 years. And Derek Jeter is not even worried about that record right now. He wants to get a hit to give the Yankees the lead. He's 0 for 3 so far today. Count 1-0. Jeter in his career with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, a .316 hitter. And there's Gehrig's totals. And after 3 hits yesterday, there's Derek's totals, 27-18. So this Yankee captain facing a former Yankee captain. Count 2-0. Melky Cabrera leads off second. A good lead. And the 2-0. Grounded to third. Longoria. The throw across the diamond, and it's scooped up by Ibar for the final out of the inning. So Derek is 0 for 4 so far this afternoon. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. Hard ground ball at third. Longoria took his time, threw the ball low with a nice stretch and a good scoop by Ibar to end the 7th. Season on Yes, we're allowing you to vote along with the 2 of us here in the booth for the Chevy Player of the Game. You can text your vote to 58772. Today's candidates are number 1, CC Sabathia, 7 strong innings. Number 2, Alex Rodriguez, 3 hits. Number 3, Matt Garza, 7 strong innings. And number 4, Evan Longoria with a home run. Vote now, make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates, of course, apply. Well, that's going to do it for CC Sabathia. 7 innings of outstanding baseball. And Joe Girardi makes the call to the bullpen, which is brought to you by AT&T. Your world delivered, which delivers us Phil Hughes on the mound for the Yankees. That's what he's done overall, including starting. His numbers in relief off the charts. So 39 games at 3.11, 85 strikeouts and 75 in a third innings pitch. He's going to face Crawford, Zobrist, and Ibar. All the way. Now here's a stat that I think is so telling, John. It tells you how good the Yankee bullpen has been. The Yankees have been tied after 7 innings of play 14 times this year, which they are right now at 1-1. And they are 14-0 in those games. So they take hold of a close game late, and they say this game is ours. 14-0 when tied after 7 innings. The 0-1 outside.
It just becomes a battle of the bullpens, and the Yankee bullpen the second half of the year has been better than most in the American League. See the numbers for Phil Hughes in relief, 1.11 ERA. Outstanding numbers all the way around. Doing a nice job of jumping ahead on Carl Crawford. Obviously, you want to keep him off the bases. He has 55 stolen bases on the year. Tie ball game in the 8th inning, nobody out. You want to get the job done against this leadoff hitter. Make your life a lot easier. Carl Crawford has an open stance, a lot more open than I remembered, as Zobrist getting loose, going to hit from the left side against Phil Hughes. He's hit right-handed all day against Sabathia. Carl Crawford has that open stance a little bit more than I remember, really diving into home plate. The Yankees trying to pound him inside.
Still 2-2.
A lot of conversations for Jorge Posada with Sabathia, now with Phil Hughes. Talking about pitch selection, maybe what they're seeing in some of the swings from Crawford. Be a good time for a cutter maybe in on the hands. We'll see if they want to go that way.
2-2. And the count is full at 3-2.
Carl Crawford knows the deal here with all his stolen bases. He knows Phil Hughes is probably going to come right at him. At least throw a strike. The last thing you want to do is walk Crawford.
And the pitch. And he walks Crawford. We know fans take their Yankees seriously, so now those fans on the go can watch live Yes Network games on their PCs and laptops. If you're a Blue Ridge Communications customer who watches Yes, log on to YesNetwork.com, Yankees.com, or BRCTV.com to get more information and sign up for your subscription now. .55 stolen bases for Crawford this year, trailing only the Red Sox center fielder, Jacoby Ellsbury.
It's an interesting situation here for Phil Hughes. You want to pay attention to Crawford, but you got Zobrist up there. Big time power numbers, 23 home runs, 72 RBIs. You got to be careful with him as well.
There he goes. Pitch out. Throw to second. Got him. Oh, the Yankees guessed right. A good throw by Posada as they erase Crawford on the caught stealing. And Madden's going to come out and argue with Gary Cederstrom.
Tony Peña calls the pitch outs. Does a nice job on the first pitch. Crawford doesn't get a great jump. Jorge Posada, good throw, a little bit high. And a nice tag by Robinson Cano. Good actions on that tag, I think, got the call. Good pitch out. Strong throw, a little bit high, but watch the swipe tag. It's a bang-bang play. Second base umpire Gary Cederstrom makes the call.
I think he got the knee before the foot hit. Let's see this one. Yeah, he did before, before the foot hit the bag. Great call by Seedstrom, and you nailed it, John. What a great tag by Cano.
Jorge Posada was a strong throw, was a little bit high, and you give Robinson a lot of credit for that tag, how quick he got the ball down. Right on the knee, just beats Crawford. Huge play.
You'll see the bag doesn't move and the glove is on the knee. You see? The glove's going to come down and the bag hasn't moved, and now it does. Good call. Great camera work to the crew. Great replays. And the pitch to Zobrist is low after the pitch out, so it's 2-0. Well, what a lift for a team, huh, John?
It's a huge play. I mean, Phil Hughes did a nice job paying attention to Crawford, but then being quick enough to home plate and delivering a quality pitch out.
Count 2-1.
Crawford didn't waste any time. He tried to go on the first pitch, got nailed. Nice call by Tony Peña, the bench coach.
2-2.
There's Tony. They have all the stats and the counts where these runners like to get their jumps. Obviously, Tony Peña had something on Crawford. Likes to run early. He guessed right. Got a big out.
2-2. Foul ball. Lance Cormier probably will pitch the bottom of the 8th. Now Posada wants to talk with Hughes. Great story in the Daily News yesterday on Posada, the trip that he took from starting with the Yankee organization as a second baseman and the trials and tribulations of learning to catch, and at one point telling the Yankee organization, I can't do this, you know, do what you want with me, but I can't catch. And they said, you just stay with it. They knew a switch hitting catcher would be valuable, and here he is. Some might consider him a Hall of Fame candidate. That's how good a career he's had.
Well, this discussion definitely has to be there about the possibility of a Hall of Fame, an offensive catcher. Great job behind the plate.
Chop towards second, charging Cano. 2 outs. It was interesting in the story, you know, so much is made of, well, does he have a good rapport with Burnett? Does he have a good rapport with Sabathia? You would expect that he'd be defensive, and he's not at all. I said, listen, that's what happens between pitchers and catchers, and you just work it out. You don't sit here and worry about it and complain about it. You just work it out. Pitch to Ibar's high.
The bottom line, Michael, I mean, there are different personalities. Obviously, you don't have to get along with guys off the field, but for the time where you have that pitcher-catcher relationship, it's professional. You get the job done. You try to get on the same page.
Breaking ball strike. 1-1.
And the one thing I can say about Jorge Posada, I didn't realize how much he cared about his pitchers until I got here and played with him. I mean, he's all about the pitching staff. That's his priority.
First came out with the Yankees in '95. Actually pinch ran for Wade Boggs in the 1995 playoff series against the Mariners. Was now with the Yankees for most of '96. Wasn't on their World Series team, but after that he's been here. 1-2. And Joe Torre did something that was a ceremonial passing of the torch from Girardi to Posada. He made sure that Girardi had a seat on the bench for Game 4 of the 1999 World Series against the Braves. He wanted Posada to be there for a clinching game, and then Posada was pretty much the starting catcher after that. A 1-2 popped up. Alex Rodriguez will make the play, and that'll do it here in the 8th inning. The key play, a pitch out. The speedy Carl Crawford goes. Quick throw, quicker tag by Cano, and we go to the bottom of the 8th, tied at 1. And rover drive of the game.
Evan Longoria in the 2nd inning took a fastball from CC Sabathia, supposed to be away. It ends up pretty much middle of the plate. Home run number 29 on the year. It's her Land Rover drive of the game.
Kids out in force today, and they're looking for a Yankee victory. It's 1-1. Going into bottom of the 8th inning, Yankees about hit the Rays, but it's a tie ball game. It'll be Swisher, Teixeira, and Rodriguez against a new Rays pitcher. It's Lance Cormier. Now remember, everybody, there's a second game. We're not just done after 1. There's a second game, 6:30. Our coverage begins with the pregame show, and then 7:08 will be the first pitch. So we look forward to that. Andy Sonnenstein against A.J. Burnett. Mariano Rivera starts the throw. You ready for the second game, John?
No, I'm not yet. I will be, though. You got to focus on the end of this one, finish it up strong. You should know that better than anybody else.
I do.
Have a nice dinner and then regroup, get ready for game 2.
Cormier deals, and a swing and a miss by Nick Swisher. Well, John's eating right at the place that's advertised right behind Nick Swisher, NYY Steak. You and the family, right, John?
Looking forward to it.
Any chance I could go?
Nope. We only have reservations for 5. We'll invite you another time. The next day-night doubleheader we do, we'll keep you in the loop.
Doesn't look like anything I could convince you of.
I think NYY Steak is going to be packed. There's no way we can fit an extra seat in there, so we'll take a rain check.
Thanks, John. The 2-1. 3-1. Nick Swisher wants to work his way on. The lefty is Brian Schaus. The righty is Chad Bradford.
Spoke about the Rays bullpen. They have been overworked. They're a little bit fatigued. They have definitely been a weakness for this Rays team lately.
And Swisher does work a walk. So the go-ahead run is on base.
It's a tough spot for Joe Maddon, the manager of the Rays. The starting pitcher did an outstanding job. You have to go to the bullpen. They've been taxed with no other choice.
Here's Mark Teixeira. He scored the Yankees' only run. He reached on an E6. Bartlett was on the second base side of the bag and just booted the ball. Would have been the third out of the first inning. Then Alex Rodriguez doubled over the head of Crawford. That's the Yankees' only run. And there's a strike to Teixeira.
Cormier is a long guy for the Rays, so he can go multiple innings. Mentioned before, the Rays have a lot of situational relievers down there.
Teixeira's hitting .277 overall, .295 here at Yankee Stadium. Want to remind everybody coming up after the game, the WB Mason post-game show. Highlights, analysis, Nancy Newman in the studio. The birthday girl, Kimberly Jones, will be working the clubhouse. And you get a preview of tonight's second set as well. It's the WB Mason post-game, and it's only on Yes. The 0-2. Just got a piece to stay alive.
Garza struck out Mark Teixeira on a curveball, caught him looking. Cormier seems to be doing the same thing. Back-to-back curveballs. Mark does not look real comfortable. Only foul that one off.
And the 0-2 outside. All of the left side of the infield is open. Longoria is shaded up the middle as a shortstop with the shade. Doesn't need to hit it the other way. He lines it to right field. Bobbled there by Kapler. Going to third is Nick Swisher. The throw is not in time. It gets away, and that allows Teixeira to go to second. So the Yankees are set up. Second and third, nobody out, and Alex Rodriguez coming up.
Seen a couple of good base running plays today by the New York Yankees. Melky Cabrera had one, and right here Nick Swisher, as Teixeira gets that curveball, drills it to right field, and Kapler bobbles it. Nick Swisher all over it, round second base, aggressive base running into third, and he's going to hold up right there. But Kapler bobbling that ball enabled Nick Swisher to come around second, an aggressive base running play, head first slide, and safe at third base.
So now what do the Rays do, John? Would you walk Alex Rodriguez? And you see the base running here by Swisher. Gave it a look, saw the bobble, headed toward third. The throw hits Swisher and kicks away. Now they're going to take Swisher out of the game, and they're going to pinch run for Swisher with Jerry Hairston Jr. because they want to be able to score on a sac fly. So what's your guess? Do they walk A-Rod and deal with Cano?
I say they walk A-Rod. He's been swinging the bat well today, has 3 hits. See what his numbers. He's .250 off of Cormier in his career, so hasn't really lit it up. See Hairston Jr. pinch running at third. See how Joe Madden plays it. They're going to intentionally walk Alex Rodriguez, and Robinson Cano will get a chance.
Now you wonder, though, will they bring in Schaus now to face Cano? In all likelihood they should, and they would. So Alex 3 for 3 gets an intentional pass. And Schaus is ready.
Robinson Cano 1 for 4 off of Schaus, so he has some history there. Then a luxury for the Yankees, Jorge Posada hitting behind Cano, a switch hitter, going to be tough to match up if you're Joe Madden.
Well, Madden doesn't look as if he's coming out. He's on the top step of the dugout. Schaus has certainly had plenty of time, so he's not stalling. Looks like they're going to have the righty pitch to Cano. They bring the infield all the way in, looking to cut off this run, knowing that Mariano Rivera lurks in the ninth.
Robinson Cano 1 for 6 off of Cormier, so 167. Joe Madden's going to take his chances with that matchup.
And the pitch. There's a strike. Well, the old baseball adage is when you bring the infield in, you add 100 points to a hitter's average. Jerry Hairston Jr. is at third. Teixeira at second. and Alex Rodriguez at first. Game is tied at 1. We're in the bottom of the 8th. Popped up behind the plate and out of play.
Robinson got back-to-back little cut fastballs pretty much middle of the plate. In the hole, 0-2 right now. You got to shorten up, just put the ball in play. Make sure you make contact, take your chances. Take another look. It's a little cutter, not a whole lot of movement. Robinson just underneath it.
Blocked there by Navarro, 1-2.
Robinson, Cano, you don't worry about velocity with Cormier. He doesn't throw overly hard. I said just try to shorten up, let the ball travel and get deep. Try not to be too aggressive, just put the ball in play.
Driven to center field. Perez is there. Tagging is Hairston. He's going to score. The throw comes into short. A sac fly for Robinson Cano, and the Yankees take a 2-1 lead.
It's what makes this Yankee team so tough. They don't have to play long ball, power, hit the ball out of the ballpark. Good base running in this inning by Nick Swisher to get to third base. Nice job of situational hitting by Robinson Cano, and Joe Maddon's going to make a call to the bullpen.
He calls for the right-hander Chad Bradford. And that just means that Posada is going to spin around and back from the left side with runners on first and second and 1 out. So Cormier will depart. The Yankees have a 2-1 lead. They are looking for more. Stay tuned and find out if they get it. Save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Top of the 5th inning, Fernando Perez. It's a shot to right center. Watch Brett Gardner on his horse, covers a lot of ground. Nice sliding play, and that is your Geico play of the game. Welcome back, Brett Gardner.
Well, you've got Teixeira at second. A-Rod is at first. And the sidewinding right-hander Chad Bradford will pitch in his 17th game. 18 hits in 8 innings. Not good. 1 walk and 6 strikeouts. So Posada, a switch hitter, will just spin around to the left side. We'll recap the inning. Swisher walks. Teixeira singles. The newest Yankee, Shelley Duncan, was called up today. And that moves Swisher to third. Then E9 on the bobble by Kapler. Hairston pinch ran for Swisher. Alex Rodriguez intentionally walked. And Robinson Cano a sac fly to center gives the Yankees a 2-1 lead. Posada's had 4 bats against Bradford. He's 1 for 4.
Jorge Posada knows he's going to get a sinking fastball. It's going to be running away from him. I expect Jorge to have the approach up the middle the other way. Try not to pull the submarine-style right-hander.
Pitch to Posada is a strike.
But the toughest part about facing a guy like this, Michael, is picking up the ball out of his hand. You're Jorge Posada. You're so used to looking up over the right shoulder. Maybe the bill of the pitcher's hat to pick up the ball. You got to set your sights lower, somewhere around the hip. It's usually where the ball's going to come out of his hand.
Driven to right field and deep. That ball is going to be off the wall. Teixeira will score. Alex Rodriguez will hold it third. The ball gets away. The runners stay put. The Yankees have a 3-1 lead on Posada's RBI single.
Unusual that Bradford went back-to-back pitches inside on Jorge Posada. You see Navarro set up, tried to go in and ran back to the middle of the plate. Jorge Posada just hits a rocket. See the delivery down underneath. Obviously, Jorge Posada did not have a problem picking up the release point. Smokes this ball to right field. It's held to a single, but more importantly, the Yankees add another run.
Well, we talked about the failings of the Ray bullpen. No different today. Garza gave them 7 strong. No earned runs over 7. And then the bullpen has taken over, and the Yankees have taken the lead. Here is Eric Hinsky, 0 for 3 against Garza. They do not hold Posada at first. Ibar playing behind him. And there's a strike.
That's a location I expected from Bradford right there. Down and away, trying to induce a double play grounder. He decided to go back-to-back pitches inside on Posada, and he made him pay.
Hot shot foul. Hinsky struck out swinging in the second, looking in the fifth, and then popped to first in the seventh. And the 0-2 inside. Now Jonathan Albaladeo begins to throw just in case the Yankees blow it open and it's not a save situation. Runner goes, popped up behind the plate and out of play. Good move by the Yankees. They're not holding Posada, not even looking at him, so just erase any chance at the double play.
Yeah, Willie Ibar playing well behind Jorge Posada. He had a nice running lead and then took off. Foul ball by Eric Hinsky. You see him kind of creeping, gets a good jump.
Now because of that send, they have Ibar hold on Posada, and that opens up more of a hole for Hinsky. Count levels at 2-2. And the 2-2. Driven to right field. Kapler with the catch. Tagging is Alex Rodriguez. Here's the throw. Rodriguez is in there, a sac fly for Hinsky. And the Yankees now lead 4-1.
Another nice job of situational hitting by the Yankees. That's going to make Eric Hinsky feel a whole lot better between this doubleheader. And had a tough afternoon coming into this at bat.
And now Joe Madden wants to bring in the lefty Schaus to face the switch hitter Melky Cabrera, so he wants to spin Melky around to the right side. So an RBI for Hinske is 13th as a Yankee. Yankees have themselves a 4-1 lead. 2 outs, you come on back. By Raymore and Flanagan, furnishing your style with guaranteed delivery in 3 days or less. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Burger King, who reminds you to have it your way. Well, that's the George Washington Bridge. If they're coming to the stadium, they still have to wait for the stadium to empty out before they could park for Game 2. Brian Schaus will try to end this bottom of the 8th inning. Those are his numbers. The Yankees with a runner on first and 2 outs. 3 runs already in, shattering a 1-1 tie. It's 4-1 Yankees. Melky 1 for 2 with a walk. And Schaus deals a strike.
Melky's done a much better job this year hitting right-handed, hitting 277 right-handed, 276 coming into this game. Obviously an even split. Done a nice job right-handed.
I'll tell you what, John, this is a very tough lineup if you've got pitchers like Schaus and Bradford, because they're switch hitters up and down the lineup. You can't really neutralize them with that sort of pitcher.
Yeah, you're right. We talked about it. They're specialists. You know, Schaus obviously a lefty, would be a lefty specialist. Bradford dropping down right-handed. Tough to match up against the Yankees.
That one's grounded softly to third, charging Longoria, and he gets Melky Cabrera for the final out of the 8th. But the Yankees take the lead. They score 3 runs on 2 hits, couple of walks, no errors, and 1 error and 1 left. We go to the 9th. of us here in the booth.
Your Chevy player of the game, Alex Rodriguez, first at bat, hit a rocket, short hops a left field wall. Scoring mark to Scherer, then he just drops a base hit to right field. Another base hit to center. Spreading the hits all over the field. Alex Rodriguez, your Chevy player of the game.
Yankee Stadium is the site for this Labor Day day-night doubleheader. Across the street, the old girl still stands guard as Mariano Rivera comes in his first game since September 1st at Baltimore. He's been nursing a sore groin. Said he could pitch yesterday. He's in there today. He's allowed just one earned run in his last 29 games, good for a 0.31 ERA. 34 straight saves for Rivera. And the pitch is inside 1-0. He's had problems with the groin twice, once in Seattle during the West Coast trip, and then it kind of got a little sore. No tear or pull. It got a little sore in Baltimore, and right away Girardi shut him down, and Phil Hughes closed 2 games on the road trip. There's a strike.
You watch a couple of things with Mariano. Hasn't pitched in a while, nursing that groin problem. Location is what you pay attention to first off. Is he going to be a little rusty? Is he going to be sharp? Pretty good fastball in the inner half to Pat Burrell.
Burrell 0 for 3 against Sabathia, so Phil Hughes would get the win if Mariano could close it out.
Not missing by much, that's for sure. Not getting the corners from Jim Wolf, the home plate umpire. Used to seeing Mariano get this pitch right here. He'll take another look. Starts on the corner. Maybe just cuts off.
3-1. Oh, Burrell actually thought that was strike 2. He held up, but Burrell will walk. A rare walk by Mariano Rivera.
Friday night on Yes, former Giant and NFL MVP Lawrence Taylor sits down with Michael Kay for an honest and revealing center stage. LT dishes on his storied football days, his troubled personal life, and how he's living clean today. It's the premiere of Center Stage featuring Lawrence Taylor Friday night at 11 o'clock, only on Yes.
There's Evan Longoria, and there's a strike. Longoria, the only run for the Rays. Opposite field home run against CC Sabathia in the second. The walk to Burrell, only the 10th walk issued by Rivera all year.
He didn't miss by much. Like I said, he's not getting the corners from Jim Wolf, the home plate umpire. Another close pitch to Longoria, just missed.
And the 1-2. He struck him out. And another swing for good measure by Longoria.
Love the location, love the call by Jorge Posada, setting up high, a nice high target right over the hands, and the swing of Longoria. This is where Mariano is at his best, gets ahead in the count, then elevates the fastball, the cutter. The strike 3. Watch a nice target by Jorge Posada.
Gabe Gross is going to pinch hit for Gabe Kapler. And Rivera deals. Strike. A crowd of 47,436 here for the first game of this day-night doubleheader. And they're watching the Yankees lead 4-1. Count 1-1, he held up. The pitch. Loop toward Alex Rodriguez for the second out. So the Yankees are 1 out away from a Game 1 win. Remember, after the final out, join Nancy Newman and Kimberly Jones for highlights, analysis, and more on the WB Mason postgame. Find out what the team has to say about Game 1 of this doubleheader and get a preview of tonight's second game. It's the WB Mason postgame. It's only on Yes.
You know, Michael, if the Yankees can hold on, you'd feel good about this win. They played a clean ball game, didn't really mash or swing the bats as we have a pinch hitter, Akinori Iwamura. But good pitching, nice bullpen work, a couple of key base running plays. This would be a nice win.
And what's impressive, John, is they follow a game like they had yesterday, which was likely their sloppiest game of the year, with something like this, which was clean and efficient. Count 0-1 on Iwamura. And the pitch. A wave, not even a swing, in the count 0-2.
Well, obviously the cutter is working as that wave of a swing. The crowd's starting to get fired up. Sensing a W. Mariano looks pretty good. Just missing with his control a little bit. Cutter looks good. Velocity's there.
And the runner goes. Iwamura swings and misses. And the Yankees win 4-1. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one man left as the Yankees win the first game of this day-night doubleheader with a 4-1 victory. The win goes to Hughes, the save goes to Rivera.
Watch the pitch by pitch. First pitch cutter for a strike, and next one nasty down and in, a weak swing, and then he follows it up with another one. A little better swing, same result.